At Euro 2000, he led the Three Lions to a first win over Germany at a major tournament since the '66 World Cup final. But just 2 years later, after a shock defeat in World Cup qualifying, he resigned live on Sky Sports.
Please don't think anyone's put a gun to my head. In fact, far from it. It's been the opposite. But, you know, I've always been a man who knows when the time's right. I don't outstay my welcome. And I feel that's where I am now, you know.
From then on, Keegan dabbled in punditry, but in general kept himself away from the cameras. Kevin Keegan will forever be one of this country's greatest footballers. If an Englishman replicated his achievements today, 10-year-olds would have no need for Messi or Ronaldo shirts. It would be Keegan's name on their backs. His small frame carried one of the biggest personalities the game has ever seen, one that will be truly missed.
talkSPORT's Charlie Pritchard paying tribute to Kevin Keegan, who it's been announced in the last 45 minutes or so has died, aged 75. The tributes will continue in Drive with Annie Goldstein and Ben Foster. I'm sure that'll include yours on the phone, emails, texts and tweets. We will see you tomorrow from 1 o'clock.
Let's talk Morgan Rogers. Obviously, Middlesbrough will be quite happy as well, Crookie.
Yeah, I think they get 15 million quid there or thereabouts from their sell-on.
Yeah.
This is a move that's come somewhat out of the blue because I felt for the last few weeks the direction of travel was that Morgan Rogers ends up at Arsenal. I know that his advisors have been in talks with Arsenal for quite a few weeks now, but I'm not sure that Arsenal were willing to pay the asking price of Chelsea of season opportunity. £117 million, a British record fee, and he's on his way to Stamford Bridge. I think Arteta is going to be really disappointed because Rodgers was his top target. Arsenal could offer Champions League football. Chelsea, of course, can't offer European football of any form. But from an Aston Villa perspective, this should give them the platform now to go on and find their way around the financial issues they've had with UEFA in particular.
Sport.
Good afternoon, I'm Toby Gillis. We start with the sad news that one of England's all-time great football men, both as a player and manager, Kevin Keegan, has died at the age of 75 after a battle with cancer. His family say the former England striker and boss, who twice won the Ballon d'Or whilst with Hamburg, was surrounded by his wife and daughters in his final moments. Keegan was later a player at Newcastle, and a young Alan Shearer was hugely influenced by him.
Kevin Keegan was like the Pied Piper in Newcastle when he came as a player, and me, being a youngster, was one of the ones that followed him around to the training ground and to the ground, and getting his autograph and a picture in every opportunity.
Well, Newcastle have released a statement describing Kevin Keegan as one of the most iconic, influential and deeply loved figures in our club's history. It adds that he was the beating heart of Newcastle United for generations of supporters. Former FA executive Adrian Bevington worked closely with Kevin Keegan when he managed England at the Euros in 2000. He's just told us, in a modern world of social media, he would have been spoken about as one of the greats right across the globe.
You know, he was very much a heart and sleeve person. Cared dearly for every job that he ever did. I only worked with him with England, but his passion was undoubted. But like so many people who grew up, certainly my generation, you know, he was such an iconic figure. And I think for young Young people these days, they don't appreciate just how big a star Kevin Keegan was.
Another of his former clubs, Southampton, have paid tribute, saying they are devastated and adding that Kevin brought great joy to fans at the Dell. In other sports news today, FIFA has confirmed it will launch an investigation into the violence by Argentina's players and staff after the World Cup final last night. Morgan Rogers is at Chelsea having a medical ahead of his national record move from Aston Villa, who have started their rebuild by signing João Gomes from Wolves. They also want Crescencio Somerville. And there are reports that Bryson DeChambeau wanted Donald Trump to intervene in the controversy that saw him given a 2-shot penalty at the Open over the weekend, as he did over the following Balogun red card at the World Cup. Finally, a reminder of our top story this afternoon, the extremely sad news that Kevin Keegan, former England player and manager and Liverpool and Newcastle legend, has died at the age of 75 after a battle with cancer.
talkSPORT News.
The UK's fifth Prime Minister in 4 years is promising to tackle the cost of living, end homelessness and build more council homes. His new-look cabinet is filtering down. So far we know Steve Reid is Housing Secretary and David Lammy is out. Emma will have more at past.
talkSPORT weather with QuickFit. This summer, treat yourself to Bridgestone Turanza All-Season 6 tyres with a 25,000 mileage guarantee. Book today at quickfit.com. Conditions apply.
Cloudy in the north this evening and overnight with some light rain. Dry elsewhere with clear spells and a little warmer than last night.
Hello, good afternoon. You're listening to Drive on talkSPORT with me, Andy Goldstein, alongside Ben Foster this afternoon. Coming up on today's show, we'll look back at the World Cup final as Spain beat Argentina 1-0 to lift the trophy for a second time. We're also discussing England's 6-4 win against France on Saturday night. And as the dust settles, we'll be asking whether North America put on a decent World Cup or not. First, though, we start with some incredibly sad news as former Newcastle, Manchester City, Fulham and England manager Kevin Keegan has passed away at the age of 75.
Keegan again. Chance here for Keegan. He's done it. Kevin Keegan scores and St James's Park goes absolutely wild.
The Geordie public adore him. Being a youngster, was one of the ones that followed him around to the training ground and to the ground, and getting his autograph and a picture in every opportunity.
Keegan is in the middle.
Such an inspirational figure here, player, manager. What he's given the football club in his life is incredible.
I'll tell you, honestly, I will love it if we beat them. Love it.
Keegan, is this the hat-trick? Kevin Keegan gets the hat-trick.
Yeah, some awful news this afternoon as former Newcastle and England manager Kevin Keegan has passed away at the age of 75. A statement from Keegan's family read as follows: "It's with immense sadness that we announce that Kevin Keegan has passed away at the age of 75. The former England player and manager had been battling cancer and was surrounded by his wife and daughters in his final moments. Kevin, a double Ballon d'Or winner, was a much-loved husband, father and grandfather. The family would like to thank Kevin's incredible medical team for all their support. This is a hugely difficult time and they are requesting space and privacy." Let's talk, shall we, about the brilliance of the man now with somebody he actually gave an England debut to. Let's say good afternoon to former England and Sunderland fullback Mickey Gray joins us, along with, of course, Ben Foster. Fozzie, good to see you. Thanks so much for helping us out this afternoon. And Michael, good to see you as well. Listen, such a sad day, right? Such a sad time. I heard Paul Hawksby sign off saying at the end just how sad it was, and we're only just taking it in because the news has only just broken, and we knew he was ill 6 or 7 weeks ago, and it feels like it's happened really, really quick. And to have this news half an hour ago before we came on air is incredibly sad. Thanks so much for joining us. What do you remember of the great man? I mentioned he gave you his England debut. What was that like?
Yeah, I mean, just a true gentleman, and I think Kevin was brave enough to give me my debut when I was actually playing Championship football at the time. And I just remember receiving that phone call at the time to say you're in the England squad. And then hooking up with all the rest of the England players and meeting all the England players. But Kevin was just fantastic, enthusiastic as you know he was, and such a sad loss. I have to really say that. But a brilliant man, and what he achieved throughout his career, and even as a manager as well. I mean, he galvanised the North East. What he brought to Newcastle Football Club was absolutely sensational. I remember actually going to the training ground. We had to train at their training ground once in Durham after Newcastle had been training there for certain reasons, and there was just thousands and thousands of supporters watching them just training, never mind watching the games on a weekend. But a special man. I was lucky as well. I got to work with him in one of the World Cups. I was working over in the Middle East, and Kevin was there for a month, so I got to spend a lot of time with him and just had time for everybody. And it's a really sad day.
Fozzie, I was speaking to you when we heard the news and asked you if you knew him. You didn't know him, but you told me a lovely story which really just sums up how much of a great man he was.
Yeah, unfortunately never had the chance to sort of cross paths with him really, but there's a player I know, Ben Tozer, retired footballer now, but he signed for Newcastle I think when he was 18, so you're talking a good sort of 20 odd years ago now, and it was Kevin Keegan that signed him and Terry McDermott, and still to this day will say that he is not only the best manager he's ever played for, one of the best coaches, but without doubt one of the nicest guys as well. And that for me is probably my lasting memory of Kevin Keegan. You know, growing up, it was kind of our era, really, wasn't it? That 95-96 season where Newcastle almost did it, and the famous "I'd love it if we beat them." But he always came across as an absolute legend, a passionate legend.
It's funny, Mickey, because people listening to talkSPORT of all different ages will either remember him as the manager with that wonderful speech, or like me with the perm and the 1982 England shirt on. I remember having seen it much later because I wasn't born then, but the bust up, I was showing Fozzie actually the bust up with Billy Bremen in the Charity Shield as well, taking his top off, his athletic figure. Quite often when someone passes, it's only then that we talk about how great they were, and we look back and we go, we didn't really realise at the time. But the thing with Kevin Keegan, we realised how great he was even back in the day. You don't win the Ballon d'Or once without being a great. To win it twice on the trot is some achievement.
Yeah, I mean, he was an incredible talent. I think he would probably be one of the first people to acknowledge that he wasn't the most talented players in the world, and he always used to say he had to work at being a talented football player, and he did that throughout the whole of his career as a player and even as a manager as well. I mean, we used to call the Newcastle the entertainers. They were everybody's second favourite team, weren't they? Finishing second, as we know, on a couple of occasions in the Premier League behind Manchester United. But what they brought and what he brought to that Newcastle side was something else. The Shearer and Les Ferdinand, the partnership they had up front, Peter Beardsley, obviously there were so many players that he brought to that club, and he put the North East back on the map. I have to say that in footballing terms, for the likes of Newcastle, Sunderland, Middlesbrough. But it was Newcastle, I think, that everybody kind of looked at to be their second side, and he was just you'll never find anybody who has a bad word to say about Kevin. I mean, he just had time for everybody. I remember just going to the training with England. I mentioned it before. He gave me my debut against Hungary, coming on as a sub, which was incredible for me and something I'll never ever forget. But what he used to do with the individual, he used to have a five-a-side tournament. He'd pull individuals out of that tournament, and he'd spend 5 or 6 minutes with you just on certain individual things that he wanted from you in those games. And I'd never had that before. It was something different to me. The players were all sat down for having something to eat. He was on the table with the coaching staff and stuff, but he would always walk around and speak to every individual player when players were having something to eat. And when he walked in a room, he owned that room.
You would have played under quite a few managers, obviously. Was there something a little bit special, like you wanted to up your game for no apparent reason, but just because it was Kevin Keegan telling you to?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, because of obviously what he'd achieved as a player, but obviously what he brought to football as a manager as well. And I think he earned a lot of respect through that. And as I just mentioned there before, when he walked in the room, you knew he was in that room, and when he spoke, you listened. There's not many managers, I think, that I came across who had that authority, if you like, and Kevin was certainly one of them. He was up there top of the tree.
You mentioned Alan Shearer, as you would imagine. The tributes are pouring in on Instagram. Alan Shearer has just paid tribute to Kevin Keegan. He posted a picture along with the words, "My hero, my manager, my friend, sleep easy, boss." Listen, as always, when someone in the public eye passes away, it's really difficult because not only do you grow up idolising these people and you're familiar with them, but you sort of feel as you know them. And it's like losing a family member. It really is. More so in the world of football. Football is like no other sport. When someone that you grew up with, that you idolised, that you maybe you met a few times, when they pass away, it can hit you hard. It really can. Don't underestimate how much it can hit you. As always, talkSPORT will always be here to take your call, and that's what we're going to do for the first hour. We're going to take as many calls from the talkSPORT listener. Obviously, we have famous footballers coming on and ex-players and managers and so on talking about Kevin Keegan, but your calls are just as important. So if you want to phone up and just talk about it, we would love to take your calls. I know lots of you want to have your say. If you want to dial up and have your say in just a moment, 03717 223344. Let's quickly take one now from Jeff. He's a Fulham fan. Hi, Jeff. Good afternoon.
Hello, is this... Sorry, Andy. Am I live on now?
Now you are, Jeff. How you doing, my friend?
Yeah, I am. Thank you. Sorry, I didn't realise it come through. Yeah, thanks for having me on. Kevin Keegan, people forget that Kevin actually was at Fulham briefly. He came in the early Al Fayed era, and he took over from Ray Wilkins as the manager. And I just wanted to kind of share a little story about how he, the lasting impact he had in quite a short time there. If you remember, he was there just before taking over at England. So my dad actually one day wrote to the club. We were season ticket holders from Northamptonshire. My dad wrote to the club sort of saying, oh, look, if I sent a shirt in, could you get Kevin to sign it, maybe send it back to us or whatever it was. He got a letter back from Kevin Keegan saying, look, if you come down 1 p.m, bring your son and we will have a chat, bring him to the cottage, basically knock on the door. So I still have at my parents' house a picture of me on Kevin Keegan's shoulders in front of Craven Cottage, which was just such a meaningful thing to me. I was probably 8 or 9 at the time. Not long after that, Dad's kind of a don't ask, don't get kind of guy. We kind of got into we got invited to the training ground and joined in with a training session. He was all about me and my brother, playing little drills with us, doing all of that. Remember at this time we had people like Peter Beardsley, Philippe Albert, Chris Coleman, Paul Pesky-Salido. It was amazing, and he's getting us involved with all these guys. Anyway, we leave the training ground. We've got to go up to the cottage because of some work my dad actually had with Fulham at the time. And we're driving up Wednesday, like midweek, nothing's going on. And we drive up and he pulls up next to us on the road, on Stevenage Road. And he goes, Dave, is that you? Did you come up behind me? And Dad's like, yeah, something dodgy, don't worry, I've got an appointment here. So he goes, what about the boys? And we said, and Dad goes, oh, they'll be all right, the park's next door. And Keegan sort of turns around to Dad and goes, well, tell them to wait 5 minutes, run up to the security hut at the end there and say Kevin sent them. They disappear. My brother and I go up 5 minutes later, and these two blokes go, yeah, here you go, boys. Gives us basically these passes to get around Craven Cottage. We've got the whole place to ourselves as like 9 and 12-year-olds. And we're running around up and down the terraces. One rule, as you can imagine, don't go on the pitch. But that touch, and I'm sure hundreds of people are trying to call you right now to tell similar stories. Yeah. But that little touch, I can tell you now, Andy, I'm 37 years old. I still, once or twice a year, have dreams about running around underneath Stevenage Road stand.
Amazing.
And he fit Fulham in that time. People talk about us as a family club and things like that. He fit us perfectly, and he will be, missed. And I just hope, I'm sure he did, because we knew he was ill, unfortunately, but I'm sure he knew how well he was thought of by everybody.
I think he did, Jeff. Listen, thank you so much for your comments. I really want to get through as many. I think there'll be thousands of calls similar to this, but genuinely, I appreciate your time. Are you okay, though? You all right?
Yeah, I'm all right. It's obviously sad news, isn't it? But he's he had, each person has their own sort of story, I'm sure. So thanks for having me on.
Our pleasure. Thank you, Jeff, for your time. Thanks, pal. There will be lots of stories like that, I imagine. I think everyone's got a story. We'd love to hear from you this afternoon. 0371 722 3344. It can't be easy. It's never easy when someone passes, but when football loses a great, it's even more difficult. You're listening to Drive on talkSPORT. Me, Andy Goldstein, Mickey Gray, Ben Foster. We are reacting to the very sad news that football has lost one of our greats. Kevin Keegan has sadly passed away, aged 75.
There is a line that you should not overstep, and they overstepped it communally numerous times.
Got to be a long ban.
Yeah.
Jeff, if you look at it, Jeff, if you watch it back 5 or 6 times, Paredes, let me say, on Garcia, he grabs his neck, and the way Garcia's neck, after the game, Garcia's neck jolts. That's assault.
Yeah.
Simple as that. Like, it's assault.
Like you, Stuart Pearce believes that the Argentinian midfielder needs an incredibly strong punishment.
But you've got to say, and just to back up exactly what you've just said there, sometimes in life and in football, what goes round comes round. And that's exactly what's happened to Argentina today. And I'm sure FIFA will see the punch that was thrown at the end of the game. And obviously they were quite happy to extend a 6-game ban for a Qatari player, and I'm sure when they see a punch like that, it will probably warranty a 20-game ban. I'm sure FIFA will be right on top of this, Aid.
Yeah. Well, they should be, because something's got to be done to stop.
You want to feel
like
safe
that.
on the pitch, don't you, Jeff? Do you know what I mean? You can't let the punishment has to be that big that no one ever does that.
It is assault. You've got it absolutely right.
No matter what happens in football, you can be angry you lost, but be classy in defeat.
Yeah.
Don't like. Do you know what I mean? If you want to fight, Paredes, there's places to fight. Not on a pitch against a Garcia. The way he was manhandling, I think it was Gavi, 21-year-old kid, and you're throwing him around on the pitch. That's someone's son, someone's brother.
Yeah.
Disgraceful. I'll ban him from the whole next tournament if I had my way.
I mean,
Howard.
They were shameless class.
Get ready to get that winning feeling with talkSPORT Win. This summer, talkSPORT is bringing you live and official coverage of every game of the FIFA World Cup 2026. And to celebrate, we're giving away £26,000 guaranteed. Go to win.talksport.com to enter now, and you could win 26 grand in your hand, tax-free. Enter now, and you could be the next to get that winning feeling, courtesy of talkSPORT Win. Find out how to enter now at win.talksport.com.
Keegan again. Chance here for Keegan. He's done it.
Most of all, he had this passion. He had a passion and desire. And sometimes you can't give people that. He had this burning desire inside him to win. Not win at all costs, but win the right way. And he lifted us out of the doldrums.
Good afternoon, everyone. If you're just turning on your radio, you're listening to Drive on talkSPORT. It's me, Andy Goldstein, former Premier League goalkeeper Ben Foster, alongside, in partnership with Giacomo Style and Brands for Every Man. We are reflecting on the incredibly sad news that Liverpool Newcastle legend, former England manager Kevin Keegan, has passed away at the age of 75. You just heard there the voice of former Newcastle coach John Carver discussing when Keegan saved the club from relegation down in Division 2 back in 1992, before leading them back to the Premier League in his first full season in charge. We would love to hear from you. I know loads of you want to have your say and pay tribute to Kevin Keegan. You can by giving us a call, 03717 223344. Simon is a Man City fan. Simon, good afternoon to you.
Hi. How you doing, Andy? All right, mate?
I'm okay, pal. How are you today?
Oh, it's funny. Well, it's not funny. It's difficult because I'm not saying that you guys do this sort of thing and somebody passes from the game absolutely brilliant. I listen to talkSPORT all the time. And I thought to myself years ago, I've got some good stories about Kev when he goes, but never did I think he goes so soon. I mean, after hearing the news, what was it, 6 weeks ago?
6 weeks ago, yeah.
Just brings back sadness that happened to my friends. A mate of mine got diagnosed 12 weeks last year. 12 weeks gone. So yeah, anyway, Kevin Keegan, one legend of the game, eh? Me and my mate Nick Barham, who was at Main Road for Hospitality Day on 29th of December in against Burnley when he was a manager. We did all the hospitality thing, and we were a little bit, let's just say, a little bit tipsy. So we sneaked off into Main Road, you know, into the ground when it was empty. And we see Gerard Reekin, Sean Gota, and we're like kids scrambling over the chairs to run down to meet them. Met the go, took a photo, and then Kevin, Arthur Cox, Derek Fuzaki, their wives, and all the kids come out of the tunnel. But you can imagine us, can't you? Like just sitting there like, Kevin. And he seen us. And at that particular point in time, my dad was in hospital. And he just happened to phone him. My dad did. And says, I was on the pitch. And I'm like, stay on a minute, Dad. I said, Kev, my dad's in hospital. Is there a word with him? And he'd be like, yeah, just 1 second. And he walked over to me, took the phone off. And what's your name, Kev said? His name's Peter. So he took the phone off. He said, oh, Peter, it's Kevin Keegan. And my dad actually says, Kevin to pay off like. It's not. It's Kev. And he walks around the pitch for 5 minutes talking to my dad while he's in hospital. And he shows the man of the guy, the mark of the guy. With his family and his daughters there too. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just listening. I'm just checking you're okay, Si.
Yeah, I'm just smiling to myself. But there's a little bit more about this story. That was 29th of December.
Yeah.
We played Sheffield United at Bramall Lane on January the 1st. My birthday, and I managed to get some tickets off a boat down south. Said, meet me at the George Hotel in Sheffield. So I goes and meets him. I go to this hotel. It won't be known to me. It's the Players' Hotel. 10 minutes in waiting, all the players comes down, and Kev walks down, and he said, are you stalking me? I had come and had a chat with me, had another photo, put his arm around me, and just basically, there was no, divide between the fans and the manager, you know what I mean?
No.
It was great. And obviously, the last memory, you'll obviously remember this, Andy, November the 9th, he gave me my first derby win against United. When Gary Neville got fed by the goat that day, and the interview he said after, he said, what do you say to the players? Just go out there and do not lose. Because obviously after that, I love it. Yeah. What a guy, what memories. Not just for me, for everybody. I mean, I've got some calls. So thanks for listening.
Our pleasure. That's why we're always here. Are you all right? You got people around you, Si?
Listen, I've got talkSPORT. I'm just driving home and I'll be listening all day. But honestly, guys, you guys are brilliant at this sort of thing. But also, people who's got problems and stuff like that,
Yeah.
I've had problems in my life, but over the years, sport and stuff like that, get you through dark times.
Yeah.
Appreciate it, guys. You do a great job.
That's why we're here. Thanks for your kind words, Si.
Cheers, mate. Have a good day.
Thanks, man. You too. What's interesting, Ben, is that when someone, I mentioned this earlier on, but when someone passes away, what it does for me, it sort of opens up old wounds of people that I know that have passed away, and a lot of people listening to this will feel maybe down and sad, but won't necessarily understand why. And it's one of those times where you need to reach out to people, you need to have a chat, because it's so difficult.
Yeah, these calls that we're getting today are fantastic calls, and I'm sure we're going to get many, many more of them today. I think whenever something really sad, like the passing of like Kevin today, for example, first and foremost, people will remember the player. He was a fantastic player, Ballon d'Or winner, incredible manager. But then the follow-on is all of the personal stories, all of that connection that he had with people, the individual things where he went out of his way to be just the person that he is, a lovely, nice person. We live in a world today where players and managers and football is so disconnected from the working class man. But Kevin, every story we're hearing is going to be of the same sort of ilk. He was just a lovely, lovely man.
Yeah. Keep your calls coming in. If you just want to have a chat with us on such a sad day for football, then that's why talkSPORT is here. That's one of the many reasons. Pick up the phone. You'll never be alone. 03717223344. More of your calls in just a moment. Someone that knew Kevin incredibly well, Lee Clark, will be joining us as well in just a moment. If you're just turning on your radio and you're unaware, we are reflecting on the incredibly sad news that we've lost one of our greats. Kevin Keegan has sadly passed away at the age of 75.
Who would have even dreamt that 6-4 would be the scoreline in
a madness,
the third and fourth place game?
A 10-goal quote-unquote thriller, an absolute candy floss
And you see
of a
the
game
amount
of
of chances
football.
that were missed as well.
Oh, I watched it live last night, and I went back over. My notes from when I'm watching a game are often an absolute madness when I read back over them. And I'm like,
Are you on little bits of paper, or is it a big sheet?
No, I actually, weirdly, I WhatsApp them to myself. So I write them in my phone as I'm watching, and as there's breaks in play, etc. And one of the things I wrote is England could have scored 6 in the first half. France could have scored 9 in the second half.
Yeah.
Like, it was just a absolute madness of a game of football. But is it one you take in any way seriously?
Well, it's hard to... Could you imagine that game and that result being in the tournament as a semi-final game?
Absolutely not.
That's just not going to happen. So I mean, watching the performance with England against, Argentina, we talked a lot about it yesterday, and what England didn't do. And then we watch the next game and England do everything they should have done, as in the type of players to get into space and run behind the opposition's defence. England done it all the time. It was like, well, you didn't see that once in the last 35 minutes of a game against Argentina. And then every, minute and a half, 2 minutes, you saw someone breaking from, wide areas into space and getting behind, the French back four last night.
Yeah, I've got to tell you.
The German leading England. It all sounds a little bit odd, but as Thomas Tuchel tries to bring football home, here's how he ended up in one of the most scrutinised jobs in sport. Well, Tuchel started his footballing journey in the sleepy town of Krimbach. His leadership skills were obvious from an early age, with Tuchel even making subs during PE volleyball sessions. After a knee injury ended his playing career at the age of 25, Tuchel accepted his first coaching role in the Stuttgart U setup in 2000. He led the club's under-19s to their league title 5 years later, but his perceived abrasive personality meant Stuttgart chose not to renew his contract. He went on to spend 5 years at the helm at Mainz before leaving the club for Dortmund. And there, Tuchel secured his first major trophy, the German Cup, in 2017. 8 more pieces of silverware came next for Tuchel in just 5 seasons at PSG, Chelsea and Bayern Munich. And that CV impressed the top brass at the FA.
We found so many similarities and so many things that suited my approach and my hunger to achieve special things. I always wanted to come back to England.
Well, he says all the right things, but is destiny on Tuchel's side?
Welcome back to Drive on talkSPORT. It's me, Andy Goldstein. Ben Foster alongside me this afternoon. We are reflecting on the incredibly sad news that Liverpool and Newcastle legend, former England manager Kevin Keegan, has passed away at the age of 75. Let's speak to a man now who made 173 appearances under the great man for Newcastle. Lee Clark joins us on Drive Time. Lee, good afternoon.
Hi, Andy. Hi, Ben.
Thanks so much for coming on. Firstly, how are you feeling? Because whenever anyone passes away, it's tough, but someone that you knew incredibly well is even more difficult. How are you today?
Heartbroken. This was more than just a manager to me. He was like a father figure. I seen him reinvent this football club twice and also reinvent the city in the early 80s when he came as a player. Got the club out the doldrums of League Two, which is now the Championship, into the top division, from 15,000 crowds to full houses of 32, 33,000, and then was lucky enough to be there the day he walked through the door in the early 90s to do exactly the same with the football club and the city, and take a club that was languishing down the bottom of the Championship to 2 or 3 years later challenging to become Premier League champions.
Lee, when we know he's been ill for some time now, or not long actually, was it 6, 7, 8 weeks? When was the last time you spoke to him? You spoke to him recently.
Yeah, I did. I spoke to him when we first heard about the illness, and as usual, he was more concerned on how I was doing and how my family were doing rather than himself. He said he was in good spirits. I knew he'd been up to the city a couple of weeks ago to do some after dinner stuff with the fans, and he was on top form again. But then probably about a week ago, I heard that he'd gone back into hospital. But today's come as a real shock for all of us. We still speak regular, the lads from the 90s, and we're all devastated by the news.
Lee, talk to me about his management style. Tactics aside, what was his man management like?
Up there with the very best, Ben. As I said, he was like a father figure. He wanted to know. He used to call them the only team that was important was your team back home, and he used to making sure that you looked after your family, and he was interested in them. In the playing side, he made you feel like the best player in your position in the world, and his recruitment was his key. People talk about that he didn't really bother with tactics, and he didn't, but what he did is he built the jigsaw puzzle unbelievably, and then he had the knack of being able to improve that year on year. And he's absolutely adored in this city. When they talk about, nobody should be bigger than a football club, which is the right saying. Kevin comes very close to that happening with him, with Newcastle United. And I spoke with obviously my good friend Terry McDermott and his wife. I was up seeing them last week, and Jean, Kevin's wife, was contacting them, and she said that I was up seeing them, and they were all, that was the same sending their love to myself when I was wanting to pass my best wishes on to Kevin. So yeah, it's just condolences to Jean and the girls and the family. It's a really tough day around this city today.
A few people I've spoken to have told me about the aura that he had when he would walk into a dressing room as a manager. I mean, as a player, he won titles with Liverpool, with Hamburg, won the FA Cup, won the European Cup, the Ballon d'Or twice. When you were in the same room as him, did it feel like greatness was alongside you?
Absolutely, just a bit. And the perfect example, Andy, was, things get said about the lads from our era to say that we never turned down a request for a photo or an autograph. We spent time with people. And that was shown to us an example by the biggest superstar in our dressing room, and we had some top players in that era, was our manager, Kevin Keegan. He was the person that people came to see and wanted to be around. He never turned down a photograph, an autograph. He always spent time with people. When we've had some, anniversaries of teams that we've had the team that got promoted to the Premier League. I think that was a 30-year anniversary. And we'd done like a gig in a local hotel, and some fans had paid extra to get some pictures. Every single one of them person he had a moment with to chat with them before they got that picture taken. And it just showed you what the man was about. So he was the perfect example to us. Very special man. And probably someone you thought was just such like a bit of a superhero that this was never going to happen to. He thought he'd continue forever and ever. So, yeah, a tough day. But, so proud that I can say that I was lucky enough to be part of his life and he was part of mine.
Lee, I remember as a teenager, one of the big Newcastle games that always stuck out for me in my mind was the 5-0 at St James's against Manchester United. Big Philip Albert chipping Schmeichel from 30-odd yards. You came on in that game. Can you remember anything afterwards or anything that made that game unique as to why you could go and put 5 goals in that day?
Yeah, Ben, it was just like, that was the way we went. It didn't matter who were playing, home or away. It was just us going all out attack. And, sometimes that worked, like that day, the 5-0. Other times, the famous Anfield game where we lost 4-3. And, that's what he was about. He wanted his team to entertain. A great story was we won the championship at Grimsby Town on a Tuesday night. The season was finishing the following weekend, but we had an extra game to play. We had a game in hand at home to Oxford on the Thursday. And obviously we'd done a bit of celebrating on the Tuesday. So when it come to the game on the Thursday, we weren't in tip-top shape, to say the least. And we were 1-0 down in the game. And at half-time, he came in and the first thing he said was, "That's not acceptable. You're shortchanging the supporters." And he said, in fact, it's not good enough and I'm not entertained, so I'm going to go home. And he left the ground at half-time. And we ended up winning the game 2-1. Me and Coley scored. And that was just epitomised what he was about. He wanted to be entertained as the manager, and he wanted us to entertain the fans as well. And it's a special man, very special.
Lee, it's very rare that a footballer will go from club to club. I haven't got it in front of me, but I'm pretty sure it's Scunthorpe, it's Liverpool, it's Hamburg, it's Southampton, it's Newcastle. It's very rare that every single club will idolise a player for whatever reason. That just tells me that wherever he went, he just didn't want to let anyone down. Is that the type of man he was?
Absolutely. Even when he joined in training, Andy, he was one of the best. He always said that he didn't have natural ability. He made it himself. He went on to win the Ballon d'Or twice. And he made that through his determination, desire. He was adored at all those clubs you mentioned. He was one of the first ever players to go overseas, and he was adored in Hamburg. So all those things, whenever we went anywhere with him, as I said, he was the main man. When we went and played in Europe, everyone wanted a bit of Kevin Keegan. When we went on pre-season tours to the Far East, probably didn't know any of the players, but they certainly knew who Kevin Keegan was. So, and it was, it's just heartbreaking news that we've had today.
Yeah, well, listen, it can't be easy. It's very difficult when someone so close to anyone passes away, and then someone phones you up and says, "Can we get you on talkSPORT for 5 minutes?" But you know, sometimes, not sometimes, I think all times, it's good to just talk and laugh and remember just how great people were, because quite often, and myself included, we bottle it up, we don't talk about it, and I personally, it's just a much better way, because I think it helps you deal with the situation, and B, you sharing your views and your memories of a great man will help other people listening as well. So thank you so much for coming on.
No, you've done well, Andy, because I just done something earlier with someone as well and actually did break down. So you've done well to keep us on this long without us getting a bit too over the top emotional. But that's what the man done to us all. We're all of every single person in this city since we heard the news, just over an hour or two ago. This city, and it's in mourning, and it will be for a long time.
Well, I appreciate your time. I can see on your face that you're crestfallen, you're heartbroken. So I hope you're okay. We're sending lots of love and good vibes your way.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming on.
Thanks, Andy. No, listen, I know and I appreciate them kind words. I'm such a proud young, well, not young anymore, but a proud Geordie who could witness him and then have the pleasure to work alongside him and call him my boss.
Well, we send you lots of good vibes and love, and we appreciate your time, Lee. Thanks so much, pal, for your time.
Top man, Lee.
Thanks, lads. Thank you.
Man. Thanks, man. Keep well. There you go, Lee Clark.
Just talking about joining in with training, that was another story Bentosa told me. He used to join in, apparently, play two-touch or head tennis.
Yeah.
And him and Terry McDermott, by all accounts, were a fearsome head tennis team. Fearsome head tennis team.
Yeah. I think that's... listen, I never met Kevin Keegan, right? If I did, I can't remember. But as I said earlier on, when you've got every single club idolised him, you know, some players you'll get and they'll go to a club and they'll do everything they can for that, and then they'll move on. Their heart's not really in it. But I sort of felt wherever he went as a player or even a manager, he just gave... It's such a football cliche, 101%, right?
I've always had managers throughout my career where you can tell if their heart's really in it or not. You can tell if they care about the club, the players. Do they sit down at the canteen? Do they ask you about your family, how many kids you got, where you living, where you're travelling from? All those little details that people, I think nowadays that's lost a little bit. People haven't really got these interpersonal skills anymore of what people back in the day used to have. But this is what Kevin Keegan was about. This is why he was such a loved man, because he did all those little things. That just came natural to him. He didn't have to put it on. He didn't have to put an act on. He was just that guy.
You're listening to a very sad day of drive time. Me, Andy Goldstein, Ben Foster, alongside we are reflecting and reacting to the news that we've lost one of our greats this afternoon. Kevin Keegan has sadly passed away at the age of 75.
Viva España. Thank you, Spain. Muchas gracias, España. Ferran Torres, you absolute beauty. You have saved football, because from start to finish, whether it's Tom Cruise's pathetic speech about unity in front of Donald Trump, whether it's the game starting 6 minutes late, whether it's the disgraceful refereeing which allowed Argentina to push, scratch, foul and dive their way into extra time, whether it's the most egregious decision to chalk off Nico Williams' opener, whether it's the ridiculous half-time show which wasn't even good, or Infantino chasing after Donald Trump after the trophy was handed out. This World Cup in so many ways was an absolute circus, and Argentina, who might have produced two of the world's best players, have been an ugly addition to this World Cup, and I'm glad they got their just desserts. The only shining light in the stadium was Spain, and I've just enjoyed the biggest hate watch of my life. Thank you, Spain. You've saved football.
Max, I'm with you all the way, mate. Look, it was a boring game.
It was a terrible game.
It was a terrible game, wasn't it? It wasn't great, was
Argentina made it terrible.
Yeah, just...
The ref made it terrible.
Stop, start. Loads of fouls. Goals disallowed that should have been goals. Like, you could see it was just they were trying to line it up for Argentina, but they just didn't.
Get ready to get that winning feeling with talkSPORT Win. This summer, talkSPORT is bringing you live and official coverage of every game of the FIFA World Cup 2026. And to celebrate, we're giving away £26,000 guaranteed. Go to win.talksport.com to enter now, and you could win 26 grand in your hand, tax-free. Enter now, and you could be the next to get that winning feeling, courtesy of talkSPORT Win. Find out how to enter now at win.talksport.com.
Listen, Drive on talkSPORT, me, Andy Goldstein, former Premier League goalkeeper Ben Foster, alongside in partnership with Giacomo. Get fresh looks and great brands from Giacomo. We are reflecting on the incredibly sad news that Liverpool and Newcastle legend, former England manager Kevin Keegan, has passed away at the age of 75. You just heard the voice of Newcastle legend Alan Shearer, who of course played under him for both club and country. We'll take as many calls as we can if you want to have your say, pay tribute to Kevin Keegan. That's one of the reasons why talkSPORT is here. So you can 0371722 3344. Helen is a Liverpool fan, joins us now. Helen, good afternoon to you.
Hi, Andy. Hi.
Hi, Helen.
Yeah, I'm absolutely devastated. I never met Kevin Keegan. I wished I had. But as a 14-year-old schoolgirl, I became aware of him when he joined Liverpool. Hence, I became a Liverpool supporter. I'm now 66, still support Liverpool and still follow Kevin Keegan as much as I can. I met my husband when I was 16, married him at 18, but we always had this... I think he thought it was a joke. I didn't think it was a joke. We used to have this saying that I would never leave him unless Kevin came knocking. I used to say, if Kevin comes knocking, I'm going.
It's the perm. It
was the perm.
Yeah.
You know, as a teenager, all my friends had pop stars on their bedroom walls. I had Kevin Keegan on my bedroom wall. I still have a photograph of him now.
Oh, wow.
A framed photograph in my bedroom. Much to my children's dismay.
But you know what? He was probably the first sort of footballer turned pop star, right? He was one of those.
Definitely. Yeah. But like I said, never got to meet him. I had an opportunity once. I thought he was going to be playing a charity cricket match down at Arundel on the south coast.
Yeah.
So I dragged my husband along.
I bet he was delighted.
He was, what? And then when we got there, we discovered, I think it was probably the time when he was going off to Hamburg, and he'd flown out to Hamburg, so couldn't get to the cricket match. So instead, the substitute was Ian Lavender from Dad's Army. I was not impressed.
No, I bet your husband was over the moon.
yeah.
Oh, what a lovely call. What a lovely. Are you okay today? You know, I know you didn't know him, but you knew him, if that makes sense.
Well, it's funny. I'd been out for a walk this afternoon, and when I got home, my daughter phoned me.
Yeah.
And I thought, why is she ringing me? Because she's normally at work. And she rang to tell me, because she said, I don't want you to see it on the news, because
bless
she
her.
knew. And, yeah, I've had a few tears.
I bet
more
you
than
have.
a few.
Yeah.
But this evening, I'm going to watch my 14-year-old grandson playing a friendly football match. And I sat here thinking, should I go or not? I'm thinking, I'm going to go. I'm going to go and watch him play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See if you can get the 7 shirt. That'd be nice.
Yeah, that would be lovely,
That'd be
wouldn't
great.
it?
You've been lovely as well, Helen. Thank you so much for that.
Oh,
that
thank
great
you,
call.
Andy.
Thank
Take
you.
care. Bye-bye.
Good luck.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Let's speak. What great call. Let's speak to Steve, a Liverpool fan. Hi, Steve.
Oh, good afternoon, Andy. It's been brilliant. Thank you for the great tributes you've been paying to him today.
No problem at all. You can add
So
to
good.
them if you'd like, Steve.
Yeah, totally. I'm a Liverpool fan, obviously, as I say, but I missed the era. I was more of a Dalglish man, to be quite honest with you.
Yeah.
However, he came home to everybody through the program Superstars.
Yes, that's
on
right.
BBC,
With Brian Jackson doing all the press ups. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And through that, I got to live this person who was so ultra competitive that and just so on it in everything he wanted to do. He wants to be a perfectionist and the best at it. And the Superstar scene, which will, for obvious reasons now, unfortunately, will never be replicated because they're all scared of breaking a player's leg or hurting them. But he really showed there his real being, his real self. And I think forever will live on, not just a theme tune in my head, but also him, Brian Jacks, and all the things that he did during that fantastic programme.
Ben Foster's looking at me like I'm mad because Ben's a little bit younger than you and I. But people like Ben won't really believe what
It rings a bell a little bit.
Superstars was like a BBC show, and they would get people like Kevin Keegan, Brian Jackson. I think either I can't remember which fashion. It might have been Justin, but I think it was Justin Fashanu. But other like top pros, not necessarily footballers. Brian Jackson being like a judo champion. They would all take part in a BBC show where they would pit themselves up against each other for, I think it was running. I think there was a bike ride involved. There was dips on the...
I remember. I do. Press-ups or something like that.
That's insane. They could all get injured, but no one really did they?
No, well, he did actually, because during the cycling bit, I think he had a tangle and he actually took half the skin off his shoulder and just carried on. He was an absolute superhero.
Yeah. There you go. That sums him up, doesn't it, really?
Yeah, absolutely. Tear in my eye from the whole thing, I'll be honest with you today. But I just think that, that if that program's on today, he would be worldwide known.
Yeah. Well, I think he is anyway. I think credit.
Yeah,
to
no,
that.
totally.
Yeah,
totally.
All right, Steve, what a great call. Thanks for that.
Thank you, Andy.
Thanks, man.
That's a lovely call. It puts a smile on my face listening to things like that. We're lucky enough we've got some TV screens in front of us here as well, and lots of old clips of Kevin Keegan running around, kicking people. But it was in an era where you had to be competitive.
Yeah.
If you didn't have that inside you, you wouldn't going to make it. As simple as that. We watched before we came on show the clip about him where he's just got punched. Billy Bremner, flush in the face.
Community Shield, yeah.
Absolutely flush in the face, but it almost just got up and got on with it again, like it wasn't a thing to him.
He was, when we spoke to that, I can't remember that lady's name, forgive me, but when we spoke to her, and I said he was like the first rock star footballer, right? He had the perm, he took his top off and he looked fantastic.
Yeah,
you said good shoulders.
Yeah, very good shoulders, very good shoulders. 5'8", but could do absolutely everything.
Yeah,
brilliant.
Superstar. What a great but very sad hour of drive time. We are reflecting on the news that one of our greats, Kevin Keegan, has sadly passed away at the age of 75. You can keep your calls coming in. We'll take as many as we can between now and 7. We'll also look back at the last 6 weeks of World Cup football. If you want to have your say on all of the above, we'd love to take them. 03717 223344. This is Drive Time on talkSPORT.
Gabby, well done to Spain. Argentina were an absolute disgrace.
Yes, I last night I felt like I won last night watching. I felt like football was the winner. Anti-football lost. Shame that Messi's probably last World Cup game was a game where his team didn't try and play football. Disgraceful tactics that have worked all through the World Cup. They're bully teams, and last night they tried to bully Spain and it didn't work. Finally, a referee who decided to give a few bookings. Could he give a lot more?
Oh, well, how was Paredes still on
especially to Paredes and other players, but at least he gave that second yellow card to Enzo Fernandez, who deserved to get sent off. Football's the winner once again, which is what we wanted to see in the Champions League, football being the winner, and also in the World Cup.
Yeah, that Enzo Fernandez. I've never met him. He must be a lovely bloke, mustn't he? After the England game, when he said he likes the English because everyone who cleans and cooks at his house is English.
Wow.
I mean, it's breathtakingly arrogant, to say the least. You know, I think he'll get a pretty hot reception at English football
Every game
next season.
Every game. Just his character, his celebrations. Social media last night was absolutely buzzing. Spain winning, Enzo getting sent off was the perfect end to the World Cup.
Yeah, and I have to say that, look, I mean, Spain should have put them to the sword much sooner, but they don't have a focal point up front, do they? They don't have an out-and-out striker as such.
Yeah, I mean, if they had the old strikers that they had, like David Villa, he would have scored a lot of those chances. But some of the...
for our number 2 drive on talkSPORT. It's me, Andy Goldstein. Ben Foster is alongside us. If you just turn on your radio and maybe you don't know, it's a very sad day. We are reflecting on the awful news we heard earlier on. Former England manager Kevin Keegan has passed away at the age of 75. To continue reflecting on his career, we're joined by the man behind the mic for this iconic Keegan rant.
When you do that with footballers, like he said about Leeds, and when you do things like that about a man like Stuart Pearce, I've kept really quiet, but I'll tell you something. He went down in my estimation when he said that. We have not resorted to that, but I'll tell you, you can tell him now, if you're watching it, we're still fighting for this title, and he's got to go to Middlesbrough and get something. And I'll tell you, honestly, I will love it if we beat them. Love it.
Wow, what a moment that was. We're now joined by football reporter and the man putting the questions to Keegan there. Jeff Shreves joins us on Drive. Hi, Jeff.
Hi, Andy. Hi, Ben. First of all, I'd like to offer my condolences and thoughts to Kevin's family and to his friends as well. It's a tremendously sad day. And like everybody else, unfortunately, we knew he had been unwell, but when the news broke, you feel bereft, you feel empty, because he was such a fantastic guy. And also, I'm just finishing up here in New Jersey at the World Cup, and there's been a lot of talk about the World Cup and the people behind it. And in Kevin Keegan, you're talking about one of the most principled and straight people you could ever have the good fortune to meet. He was so principled as a man. Didn't care who it was, what it was. If he thought it was wrong, if he thought it was an injustice, he would call it out there and then, and he would never back down. The clip you just played, I'd like to take the credit. I was in the room. I know I was in the room with Kevin when that happened, but on the other end was actually Richard Keys and Andy Gray. It was the Monday Night Football at Ellen Road. And Kevin, when he came into the room, he did that. And then when he got back on the bus, his assistant manager, Terry Mack, said to me a couple of days later, because it is an iconic moment.
Yeah.
He said, Kevin never said anything at all. Just, did Sky. Didn't faze him in the slightest, Andy. But I will remember Kevin so fondly, both as a player. I'm old enough to remember him as a player. And you talk about iconic moments as well. 1974 FA Cup final. It was the brilliant David Coleman. Liverpool 3, Newcastle none, Keegan 2, Highway 1. Goals pay the rent, and Keegan gets his share.
Jeff, what was Kevin like with you as a manager? Because after games there could be a bit sort of heated sometimes. Yeah. Some can be a little bit prickly. What was he like with you?
Brilliant, Ben. Heart on his sleeve. He wouldn't allow you, not that we would try to make your name, your headlines off of him, but he knew he was so ahead of his time in terms of he was one of the very, very first footballing genuine celebrities that England have ever produced. He knew the value of the media. He knew his worth, and he also knew the value of his time as well, which he would always give tremendously generously. He often, it's a funny thing, Ben, it's like when moments like you think about something, your moments with them, with Kevin, he always used to lean against the wall. When he was so casual, he would lean against the wall whilst we're doing an interview. And another time, I remember when he was the England manager, and I'd gone to Lancaster Gate to do an interview with him, and we were sat there, and he was talking about his dad, how much he would have liked his dad to have seen this moment. And I wish my dad, and as he said it, the bulbs popped and the room went dark. And he said, that's a bit spooky, isn't it? That's a bit spooky. But he was in interviews, Ben, he was like he was as a person. He was so giving. Andy, you've been to our Legends of Football. We raise money for music therapy, as you know. One time, somebody bid a lot of money to have dinner with two former England managers. And Glenn said, yeah, I'll do that. No problem at all. Look, and these are working people. This is how after football often people have their careers. And I said to Glenn, what sort of fee are we looking at? Glenn said, no fee at all. And I rang Kevin. I said, this is it. He said, what's the fee? He said, I said, Glenn's not charging a fee. Kevin said, right, I'll charge exactly the same then. And he hadn't been involved in the charity or anything like that.
Yeah.
Came, gave his time. Sensational bloke.
Jeff, just going back to the iconic I Would Love It interview, did you ever revisit that with him?
Yeah. He would talk about it because it happened. And, he knows that's not why they lost the title. And funny enough, the strange thing was, it was all a bit of a misunderstanding, because what he was saying was how it was the Leeds team. The Leeds team had tried that hard that night. That's what he was talking about previously. He had felt that they'd let themselves down elsewhere, and he was trying to protect his mate, Howard Wilkinson. So, again, it came out of something of a misunderstanding, but it will be forever associated with Kevin. I Would Love It. Kevin was also kind enough as well to say to us as Sky, because you imagine, Andy, when we first started out, Manchester United win the title for the first time in 26 years. So that's a moment for a new broadcaster, which everybody embraces. And then you have this challenge from Newcastle under Kevin playing a brand of football, which was just extraordinary. And he said, you guys, meaning Sky, you've dubbed us the entertainers. He said, I'm not saying we've got to live up to it because of you, but we are. And we're very proud of it, because I believe that's the way that football should be played. And they're fantastic value.
Did any managers that you interviewed afterwards, and you've interviewed obviously all the big ones, including like Sir Alex and Arsene Wenger, etc., did any of them, including Kevin, make you feel a little bit nervous when you stuck the mic in front of their face?
Yeah, well, when you first start out, you're always nervous, like any person in your role. But you just become more experienced, and you learn to cut out the mistakes would rile
Kevin like?
These managers.
What was Kevin like?
Kevin was good. I never had a fallout with Kevin at all. He was always courteous. And again, going back to the very essence of his character, Andy, if you were straight with him, he was straight with you. So, no, Kevin was great, and he gave great answers, and he could be funny as well. He could be charming. I'm really sad today, because he was a good guy.
Jeff, thanks so much for coming on. I hope you're well, and it's always great to get someone else's views on someone that everyone is only saying great words about, and that just tells you what a great man he was.
My pleasure. I only wish it wasn't such an occasion. Yeah. Cheers, guys.
Thanks,
cheers, Ben.
Jeff.
Cheers, Jeff.
That interview, the I Would Love It, is so iconic. I mean, even if you don't know anything about football, you probably know that one exists, don't you?
The backstory, I only learnt the sort of backstory to it probably this year, really. It basically came off the back of Alex Ferguson saying that other teams try harder against Manchester United than what they do against Newcastle.
It was the Leeds one, yeah.
Exactly, yeah.
That was I remember at the time, it was how Mind Games was born. That was the very first example of Mind Games.
Exactly that, yeah. And it just came out of nowhere as well. I remember watching it on the telly at the time, and it just exploded out of nowhere, and everybody was kind of sat there watching with open mouths, thinking, "Oh my gosh, what has been?"
It was like the biggest double bluff. Like, I bet they don't play that well against Newcastle. It's amazing.
Incredible.
It was amazing. Yeah. There you go, Jeff Reeves reliving that very famous moment. We are reflecting about the very sad news we heard about half an hour before we came on air, that football has sadly lost one of our greats. Kevin Keegan has passed away at the age of 75. We'll take your calls, your memories right after this. 03717 223344.
27 and a half minutes was how long half-time was. That's a disgrace in and of itself. We know that. We know it's a load of tosh. But if you're going to make football showbiz, at least do it well. They started with a clearly pre-recorded Madonna song.
Oh, yeah. I know.
It was like Mario Kart Double Dash with
Ronaldo
just sat there smiling. And they've had Justin Bieber playing a song nobody knows with a guitar that's not tuned properly. And then, I mean, we don't mind a bit of Shakira, really, but Shakira was the only highlight. But we could have had that in a 15-minute
decent. Although Burna Boy was trying to get a bit too close, you know what I mean? He's trying to get a wine. He's only
and also the irony of having the Muppets there, puppets there.
Oh, what was that about?
In Gianni Infantino's World Cup halftime.
They've overdone it, haven't they?
It was shocking, absolutely shocking. The whole Spain saved it.
Yeah.
Because it was a dark day for football until Ferran Torres, the absolute beauty, came up.
And let's talk about. Hold on. We've got to talk about at the end when they're lifting up the trophy. What's Donald Trump? What's Donald Trump doing? Like, he's trying to get a photo up again. He tried to do it with Chelsea, like in the Club World Cup. Now he's trying to do it at the World Cup, trying to be. Listen, and then Infantino, whatever his name is, Gianni, yeah. He's there scrambling across with his white trainers and suit on, yeah? With his white train, unforgivable clubber, yeah? You can't be coming up with white trainers and a suit, bro. Like, this is the World Cup final. Everyone has made an effort. You're coming with your trainers. Who are you?
Get ready to get that winning feeling with talkSPORT Win. This summer, talkSPORT is bringing you live and official coverage of every game of the FIFA World Cup 2026. And to celebrate, we're giving away £26,000 guaranteed. Go to win.talksport.com to enter now, and you could win 26 grand in your hand, tax-free. Enter now, and you could be the next to get that winning feeling, courtesy of talkSPORT Win. Find out how to enter now at win.talksport.com.
Geordie public adore him. He gave them hope, he gave them happiness, and he gave them a brilliant football team that played some great football. Very, very nearly won the Premier League, but it just wasn't to be. What a man, and he will always be loved from the people of Newcastle.
You're listening to Drive on talkSPORT. Me, Andy Goldstein, former Premier League goalkeeper Ben Foster, alongside in partnership with Giacomo Steiner Brands for Every Man. We are reflecting on the incredibly sad news. Liverpool Newcastle legend, former England manager Kevin Keegan has passed away at the age of 75. You just heard there from the voice of the Newcastle legend Alan Shearer, who of course played under him for both club and country. We're still taking your calls. If you want to pay tribute to Kevin Keegan, then we are here for you. 03717 223344 is the number. Sean has dialed. Sean, good afternoon.
Hi, mate.
Hi, Sean. How are you doing today?
Yeah, a bit gutted, to be honest, but just looking back, it reminded me of the day 1974. My dad died when I was really young, and I ended up living with my granddad and my nan. Started playing football, and then one of my earliest memories was that cup final in colour, where the smallest guy on the pitch was one of the best. And from that day on, I was Liverpool through and through. And also, when I look back on it, it was also an inspirational day because it inspired me and helped me. I was just a lost little boy, really. And so, yeah, Kevin Keegan started that. Kevin Keegan started my love for Liverpool, and it was inspirational and my first hero. And it's a sad day. It's a sad day.
Are you okay, Sean?
Yeah, I've done the old. I found the programme for the final. I got it from Car Boot a couple of years ago. I've dug that out, and as soon as I stop talking to you, I'm gonna listen to the tributes and then watch highlights of that game again.
Nice.
So yeah.
Nice. Okay.
But just want to send condolences to family and friends and anyone who knew him.
Good call.
Great
Good call.
bloke.
Thank you, Sean.
Cheers, mate.
Thank you, Sean.
Thanks for doing this.
Listen, if ever you need to call us back, just give us a
No,
call. There's always
I'm
someone
fine.
here.
No, I'm fine. I'm just a bit nervous on the radio, but I'm fine, mate.
Okay. Well, I appreciate your time. Thanks, Sean.
Cheers. Bye.
Thanks, man.
You know what? I think this. I think it just highlights so much that footballers, sports people in general, they can have such an effect on people's lives.
Yeah.
They can put a smile on so many people's lives. And if you can add in a little bit of a personal touch as well, just go out your way that day, every single day, just to go and say hello to the fans, smile, take a picture, sign an autograph. Don't just have your headphones in, you know what I mean, and just walk past head down. It's not about that. Kids remember that sort of
But I
stuff.
think those days
forever.
have gone, sadly.
I don't think they have. I don't think they need to. Even when I was playing, I retired, 2.5, 3 years ago. Every day, any chance I got to go and meet the fans or say something or smile, put a smile on their face, it meant so much to them. And I just think it's a duty of care for sports people, most people really, to go and do the same sort of thing.
Well, football's like no other sport, right? And the affiliation, the connection that football fans have with their idol is, I think, and maybe I'm a bit biased, but unrivaled in any other sporting arena.
Probably.
And all the because all the players that they feel that they are connected with, they've got such an insight into their lives. They think they can connect to them on social media. They're seeing what they're doing when they're at home, when they're at the training ground, when they're in the car. You know, this connection, this affiliation that they probably don't have with any other sportsman in any other industry. And then so when something happens like this with Kevin Keegan, so they do feel as though they have lost a friend.
Yeah, it's like they know
member.
them. They feel like they know them.
Yeah.
And that's why it means so much to some people.
Let's go to, ironically, Kevin joins us, a Newcastle fan. Hi, Kevin.
Hiya.
How are you, Kevin? Are you
It's,
good?
no, it's a tough day.
Sure.
Really tough.
What would you like to say, Kev? Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm all right. I've supported Newcastle for 60 years. So I followed the Keegan journey, start to finish. In fact, the start when I was in a beach in Corfu, and the lads from Southampton said, Keegan saying for Newcastle, I just couldn't believe it. Unbelievable news. That was 40 odd years ago, you know. I was at the 74 Cup final. But just a quick story about how I think about Kevin Keegan, who's a legend. We do the Great North Run every year in Newcastle. And one year he was there. He had a Sunderland and Newcastle top on, split 50-50, pushing a young disabled kid from start to finish. That was Kevin Keegan. I just loved him. And I'm really sad that he's gone. I feel sorry for his family. And it's sad that he couldn't come back to Newcastle and say goodbye properly, as he promised to do. But he was taken too soon. We're just adorable, Pierre. I'm a 69-year-old guy crying my eyes out about Kevin Keegan because I just thought the world of him. I watched so much good football from him. He was just brilliant. And he did so much for Newcastle, the city, and the people. And, you know, I know Lee Clark and all them, but Kevin Keegan was just a special person. Special person.
Were you lucky enough to see him play, Kev?
Yeah, I was at the 74 Cup final when it was his cup final. I saw him at the Liverpool games when Liverpool beat them 4-3. I followed Newcastle all over, everywhere. When Kevin Keegan was there, I was at every game. I got here's a true story. His last game ever at Newcastle United, I lived in Glasgow. I came down the motor and I was speeding. I was doing 96 miles an hour, and the policeman pulled us up. He said, "If you'd been doing 100 miles an hour, son, you wouldn't have seen the game. You would have banned us straight away." But I got there, played a brilliant game. I remember Beardsley scored a fantastic goal against Joe Corrigan, the goal, and then the helicopter came down, and that was a fitting end. Just fantastic.
You okay?
Sorry for his family.
Are you okay, mate?
Yeah, it's tough. because it's just been a big problem. As a player, he won everything, and he turned Newcastle into a team that everybody loved to see us play. We've played the best football ever in the Premier League to this day, better than Man City, better than everybody. The entertainers was everybody's second team, and we played great football, second to none. And that's what he's given to me. So, that's in peace, King Kev. Sorry about this, guys, but it means a lot to me, what he did for us.
We can hear, Kev.
All right.
Yeah.
Have a good show. Great show, guys.
Kev, have you got people around you today?
Yeah, I've got people around. I lost a lot of people close to us, and this just summed up the emotions, like you said before. But Kevin Keegan was just idolised. He was idolised. And the fact he got robbed from the chance to come back and say goodbye to everybody. All the young kids at Newcastle don't really know much about him. But the old guys like me who've been there for many years and witnessed everything, the 5-0 win against Man United, which was unbelievable, that's the moment that you remember. And I'll always remember Kevin in the full way. So have a good show for the rest of the night, and I wish his family all the best. Okay?
Kev,
thanks, guys.
Thank you for your call, and if you need to call us back and have a chat, we're always here for you, pal.
I'll be fine. Thanks, Andy.
All right.
Brilliant, Kev. Thank you, mate.
Thanks, man.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Wow, what a call. Oh, dear, Kev, the Newcastle fan. Tough, right? Tough for everyone.
Got a connection with them, though, haven't they? That's what I think that's a running theme for everybody that seems to be calling in, is that personal touch that he had that wasn't put on, it wasn't fake, it was just who he was. He leaves that mark on people.
Yeah.
So it feels like they've lost somebody that they know today.
Yeah. I think we should go for a break. We are reflecting on the news that Kevin Keegan has passed away at the age of 75.
You said we should respect Argentina as the holders.
Mm.
Do you still respect them after their performance in the final?
Why do you, Alex?
Well, they played like a bunch of thugs. Even
Alex,
the scenes at full time, they were laying punches on celebrating Spanish.
Yeah, of course. I don't like that. Of course, that is what they do. They leave a bit on everybody. And then, of course, at the end, maybe their true mentality comes through and you see them as people.
Look at that picture on the screen now for those watching on YouTube. Is that what you want to see at the end of a World Cup final?
No, Paredes, I simply don't. What I would like to see is, look, if I'm honest, I wanted to see Messi do something in that game. I think the Spanish, though, throughout have been magnificent. I think they only conceded one goal throughout the whole tournament. They proved they kill you with 1,000 cuts. Their passing's magnificent. Rodri's, whether he's the player of the tournament, it's certainly been a magnificent turnaround from him, from Man City. But, look, they'll have to take a good look at themselves. I think the referee was doing the best he possibly could in difficult circumstances.
Because he could have got the yellow card out a lot earlier, but that would have in itself ruined the game, wouldn't it, if he started chucking out bookings?
Well, why didn't he do that? I think he could have.
He was trying to manage the game. I think he knew that inevitably an Argentinian player
they were getting away, but they were getting away with this against England, and nothing was happening.
Yeah,
and you reflect on that. Look, they once they stopped being physical against England and decided to play some football, we couldn't live with them. We have to accept that, but we need to build on it. And that's what will happen now. We'll go away. Manager will learn from it. I think really, in the teams that I've played in, playing under Arsene Wenger particularly was helped me to be free in my mind that you attack. That's the best form of defence. Is it an English thing to say that, it's in our DNA that we want to sit off, we don't want to attack? He did say this when he took the job. I think that's incorrect, actually.
The German leading England. It all sounds a little bit odd, but as Thomas Tuchel tries to bring football home, here's how he ended up in one of the most scrutinised jobs in sport. Well, Tuchel started his footballing journey in the sleepy town of Krimbach. His leadership skills were obvious from an early age, with Tuchel even making subs during PE volleyball sessions. After a knee injury ended his playing career at the age of 25, Tuchel accepted his first coaching role in the Stuttgart youth setup in 2000. He led the club's under-19s to their league title 5 years later, but his perceived abrasive personality meant Stuttgart chose not to renew his contract. He went on to spend 5 years at the helm at Mainz before leaving the club for Dortmund. And there, Tuchel secured his first major trophy, the German Cup, in 2017. 8 more pieces of silverware came next for Tuchel in just 5 seasons at PSG, Chelsea and Bayern Munich. And that CV impressed the top brass at the FA.
We found so many similarities and so many things that suited my approach and my hunger to achieve special things. I always wanted to come back to England.
Well, he says all the right things, but is destiny on Tuchel's side?
Welcome back to Drive on talkSPORT. Me, Andy Goldstein, Ben Foster alongside. Still to come, as you would imagine, we will, of course, continue to hear your tributes to former England manager Kevin Keegan after today's sad news. Now, though, we do need to talk about yesterday's World Cup final. Spain are, of course, world champions for a second time after beating Argentina 1-0 in the final yesterday. I get this, Argentina didn't have a single shot. That's mad, until the 117th minute of the game. Some of their players started to brawl after the game as Spain celebrated. Former Premier League striker Gabby Agbonlahor was on the breakfast show this morning. He said the Argentinians let their captain down.
I won last night watching. I felt like football was the winner. Anti-football lost. Shame that Messi's probably last World Cup game was a game where his team didn't try and play football. Disgraceful tactics that have worked all through the World Cup. They've bullied teams. And last night, they tried to bully Spain and it didn't work. Finally, a referee who decided to give a few bookings. Could he give a lot more?
Oh, well, how was Paredes still on?
Especially to Paredes and other players. But at least he gave that second yellow card to Enzo Fernandez, who deserved to get sent off. Football's the winner once again, which is what we wanted to see.
That was Gabby Agbonlahor on the breakfast show this morning. You and I have not spoken at all, for obvious reasons, on today's show about the World Cup final. This is our first chat about it. Before we talk about the dark arts, what did you make of the final? It was, for me, it was the worst match out of the whole World Cup. The whole 6 weeks was sadly the final.
First of all, say what you think, Gabby. Don't hold back, mate. He's right, though. He's bang on, to be fair. I think the old world was probably rooting for Spain last night, wasn't they? It was about as a predictable final as we all thought it was going to be as well. It was going to be Argentina sitting back, sitting as far deep as they possibly can, and Spain just, it was ticking, waiting for them to try and score. If they'd have scored early doors, it'd have been a completely different game. But in fairness to Argentina, as miserable of a watch as it was, they have got a game plan and they stuck to it.
It's a horrible game plan.
Horrible game plan. I want to see it's a World Cup final. Everybody wants to see two teams playing lovely football. It's an open game. We've got some goals. But Argentina have got to do what they've got to do because they can't compete with Spain. They're too much better than them.
It was a bit Arsenal-like, wasn't it, their performance in the Champions League? But it was, right? Like, why get to the final? Why do all the hard work? That performance they put in the last 20 against Egypt, last 20 against England. And then it was almost like they were like, well, we'll just try and fall over the line now. Won't try and win the game.
Well, we've gone out of the tournament, England, And the way we've gone out of the tournament it leaves a really stinking taste in your mouth, doesn't it? It feels like we've just sort of fell on our backs and had our bellies tickled a little bit. That's how it feels. And that's exactly how Argentina approached it yesterday. Instead of getting on the front foot and trying to probe and do something and open up and get some goals, they were happy to just sit back. And it's a miserable way to lose. It really is.
Did it surprise you that those were the tactics? Because before that game, I'm having conversations with Benty out in New Yorker. Is Messi the best player on the planet again? Is he? And I'm like, well, maybe he's, that performance last 20 against England was incredible. He did it, as I mentioned, against Egypt. He just didn't turn up yesterday, did he?
No, he didn't. But I can imagine it's quite hard work trying to pull a rabbit out of the hat every single game.
But they've got the players, Argentina, to be better than that.
They've got some of the players, but I think they've found a way in this tournament to just keep getting by. They were winning in extra time. They were coming from 2 goals down. They did it round after round. They even did it against us. A goal down. They scored 2 in the last sort of 10 minutes, and they've got over the line again. And I think they thought, right, we're just going to have to keep it going exactly the same way. Let's just try and get over the line. But I've got as World Cup finals goes, it was one of the worst I think you'll ever see.
What did you make of how they reacted at the end, Argentina? We saw obviously Paredes getting involved. We saw the whole Argentinian team turning their back on Spain when they lifted it. It was just from beginning to end, even after the final whistle went. It was just nasty from Argentina.
Yeah, it was. They've definitely not won any fans over, have they, this tournament? No. Argentina. They might be the most hated nation in world football.
I've changed my mind now on Messi and Ronaldo. I was team Messi for a long, long time.
Back to Ronaldo.
I saw the bit where Cucurella sort of covered his mouth but didn't. And then Messi almost went to the head teacher and was grasping oh, he should get detention.
I'm disappointed. And honestly, man,
I don't need to do that.
I love Leo Messi, right? He is everything I want from a footballer. But that was horrible.
Why did he do that?
I don't know why.
Do that?
It's a World Cup final. I think he's desperate and he's reaching for everything that he possibly can. But you don't need to do that, Leo. Don't sink to those levels. I think Argentina outdid themselves in horribleness. Like what we saw at full time it's as bad as it can get. Paredes has fully lost his head, by the way.
Insane,
completely lost his head. Like he's trying to fully punch people in the face. He's going for them. That is full on head loss. So no, it was a horrible end to what was a bad game of football, but Spain, fair dues, thoroughly deserved winners.
We're going to take calls on all of the above and also about whether or not you enjoyed the World Cup. You enjoyed the World Cup.
Loved the World Cup.
It was a great 6 weeks.
It was a great.
There were question marks as to whether or not it was too long. I didn't think it was long enough.
No, I agree. I love it. I love having games on my telly every single day. Even when do you know what? When we got through the group stages and then you start to get to the knockouts, and then I think it wasn't until the quarterfinals, was it? Until we started having gaps in between, and there was days without games. And I'm thinking, this ain't right. I want a game on my TV tonight, please. But I loved it. I know it's an expanded tournament, 48 teams, but I think it worked.
What I did in those gaps, I just rewatched Brazil against Scotland. I'm joking. I did do. But it does feel like Scotland were in another competition. It was that long ago they went out, right? It was that long ago the group stages finished.
I remember them winning that first game, and a stat came up on the TV that says something along the lines of they have an 83% chance now of qualifying. For just winning that first game, you have an 83% chance. And then it just dragged on and they lost, and then they dragged on and they... But again, it's just the way they went out. If you're going to go out with a whimper and not really give it a go, it leaves a horrible taste in your mouth.
That percentage of them getting through it was like owning Bitcoin, wasn't it? Just watching that fall. So we'll take calls on all that. Also, a quick word about the so-called halftime show.
Horrible.
What did you make of seeing Madonna, Ronaldo and Ronaldinho?
Horrible. The whole thing was horrible. Like it was
horrible.
We're not used to that as Englishmen, are we? We're not used to watching a big old... That's not what football's about to us, right? But in America, that's just what they do. That is just what they do. So you've got to embellish a little. Just go on, do what you need to do. But 27 and a half minutes, I think it was, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was a painful watch. It really was.
Would it make a difference if you were playing in that game and you had that long away at half time? What does that do to you?
I think if you're an older player, it does. The older you are...
Don't look at me. Why'd you point at me when you say that?
I've got greyer hair than you.
Yeah.
I think if you're an older player, I think it will affect you more.
From what age? Like 30 onwards?
Yeah, maybe, 32, 33 maybe onwards. I would like to think they've probably got bikes in the gym or in the changing rooms to maybe sit on and keep your legs ticking over or something like that. But you're going to have to get moving soon because you're used to that. Normally, you'll have about 10 minutes. Once you get into the changing rooms, you'll have about 10 minutes of sat down. But they'll have to get moving pretty quickly because you can stiffen up so quick. You really can.
This is going to sound like a silly question, but would it have felt like 2 45-minute games? Like you're literally starting again. Like if you're playing a high-tempo match and half-time and then you come out, can you continue with that tempo, or are you starting again?
Yeah, because it's not even 45 minutes anymore, is it? It's quarters now.
Okay.
So
Say that.
So unfortunately, mate, it wouldn't surprise if this got crept into the Premier League. I really wouldn't. Honestly,
that would surprise me.
It would not surprise me one little bit.
Fozzie, don't be so...
Mate, where there's money to be made, they will find a way. I promise you. They'll justify it. They'll find a way. I guarantee it. They will. Where there's money to be made.
You honestly think that?
100%. 100%, mate. They will. They will.
No, we wouldn't stand for it as football fans. There's no way we would do that.
There's not a lot you can do about it. They introduced VAR, and every single one of us hates VAR. I could do away with VAR tomorrow, but they won't now because they've invested so much money into it, and
But there's no investment into a rehydration break.
No, but they will make the money, is what I'm saying.
No, I understand that. It's a 3-minute ad break.
I still
we just won't stand for it, football fans.
It'll be interesting to see. But
you're the only person I've spoken to that thinks that I come into the
No, I don't want it to.
No,
definitely don't
thinks
want
it
it
could.
to.
You're the only person I've spoken to that thinks it could.
Yeah, it would not surprise one little bit. They'll do a soft launch in the Champions League, for example. You watch. They'll do a nice little soft launch in the Champions League.
Happening,
Club will start to get. Oh, what? Hang on a minute. We're getting an extra £1 million. All right. We'll have a bit of that. You wait.
Well, you think the clubs will subscribe to it if they think they're getting money from it?
Without doubt. Without doubt, they will. Without that, but yeah, like I say, now it's quarters, so teams are approaching games differently now, even because it's quarters. So you can break it down into the 4 parts, and you can say, right, this part we're going to do that we're going to maybe sit off a little bit, get our legs back again, and then we can go again in this part here. But I hate it. I absolutely hate it.
Well, from 6 o'clock we'll talk about England, because you and I haven't had that conversation yet. Does it feel like a win, 3rd place?
No, I've got no. I watched the game. I didn't enjoy the game.
You might have enjoyed the game. I was watching it going. I had one eye on it. I didn't watch it, but I had one eye on it, and I was like, "This is a bit mad." Like I had a smile. I hated it, but only from a sort of comedic point of view.
Do you know why I didn't enjoy it? Because I know we can play like that, and I know we can do that. And don't get me wrong, France didn't. They weren't bothered. They weren't interested until they brought some subs on at half time. But I know we can do that, right? And that bit makes
we can.
That. We sort of can, though. If we have that belief, if we can carry that belief into every game that we did, we could be so much better than what we did. I'm watching it just thinking, brilliant, now you turn it on. You turn it on.
At 6 o'clock, we'll talk about that playoff. We'll talk about whether or not you think playoff goals should count. Even assists, like Bukayo Saka was, 3 goals and 3 assists?
3 goals and 3
On paper, that's a good World Cup.
It sounds incredible, doesn't it?
It
sounds incredible.
So we'll talk about that from 6 o'clock, but when we come back, we'll take your calls on Argentina. Is that the worst performance you've ever seen in a World Cup? It was such a shame because the rest of the World Cup was brilliant. It was absolutely brilliant, but that wasn't. So we'll get your calls on that, and also everything about it, from the halftime show to not England, to how long the competition was. Do you want? Well, we're getting more teams in it soon as well, aren't we?
Can't have more. We can't have more.
8 weeks, 2 months. Is that too long for a World Cup?
I don't know. Saying that, we say we don't want any more teams in it, but maybe a longer tournament, more games.
Imagine that. How long were you out in the States for?
3.5 weeks.
Did your family come out?
Only for 4 days, yeah, towards the end, really.
Right.
Yeah.
Imagine it saying to Mrs. Fozzie, I'm going out there for 8
Well, where's
weeks.
the next tournament now? It's in Portugal, Morocco, and...
Well, the first couple of days are in Argentina and
Uruguay, because it's the anniversary.
Yeah.
And then they move it back to Europe.
Yeah. That'd be okay.
That'd be okay. We'll approach that one when we come to it.
Yeah. Okay. So all things World Cup, apart from England, which we're going to do at 6 o'clock, 03717 22 33 44. I'm looking at my switchboard. There's a few lines flashing, but that means we've got lots of space for you to have your say. 03717 22 33 44. We'll take your things on all things World Cup right after this.
I've got to get your opinion because Wayne Rooney delivered quite a withering assessment of it on TV last night. That halftime show, 27 minutes. Now, first of all, from a player's perspective, you're playing in a World Cup final. You're used to 15-minute half-time, particularly as you mentioned, the veteran stage of your career. Lionel Messi, for example, when maybe your joint seize up a little bit more than they would do normally. Is it fair on the players to have to wait 27 minutes so we can see a pre-recorded song by Madonna, we can see Shakira come out and mime, and we can see Justin Bieber come out and suck the life out of the entire stadium?
Do you know, like FIFA, to stay true to the values of the game, if it's a 15-minute break in all the other World Cups, it should be a 15-minute break in this one. That's where they've gone too far. The water break as well will be thrown out. It's an Americanized, World Cup.
It was to sell adverts.
Yeah. Well, I don't care what it was for, but it was changing the momentum of games. It was giving managers an opportunity to stitch in information at vital times in the game. Now, look, I put myself in the mind of the players. And when are we listening to the halftime team talk? Are we going straight in to listen to the manager? When it's a rousing team talk, we've got to wait 20 minutes before we then, he actually gets into it.
The subs can't even go and warm up on the pitch because it's covered with
you can't warm up. What are we doing? How are we keeping those muscles and minds, turning over for half an hour? It is something they would have in the biggest game of their lives, by the way. Look, as a person who watched it, the game started late, so I nipped out to the local pub and I didn't miss the start. That was great. I had my dinner during the halftime break, so it was fantastic for the fan, but it doesn't help the competitors, and it should never happen again.
Rooney was right, wasn't he? It was crap.
Oh, correct. Absolutely. We're not ready for that. If we want to go to a show, we'll do it on another night. I'm here to watch the football.
Get ready to get that winning feeling with talkSPORT Win. This summer, talkSPORT is bringing you live and official coverage of every game of the FIFA World Cup 2026. And to celebrate, we're giving away £26,000 guaranteed. Go to win.talksport.com to enter now, and you could win 26 grand in your hand, tax-free. Enter now, and you could be the next to get that winning feeling, courtesy of talkSPORT Win. Find out how to enter now at win.talksport.com.
Welcome back. You listen to Drive and talkSPORT. Me, Andy Goldstein, former Premier League goalkeeper. Superstar is Ben Foster alongside me in partnership with Giacomo. Get fresh looks and great brands from Giacomo. Still to come, I'll be asking if you're happy with England's third place finish at the World Cup. You can't be. Just quickly, Italy have reportedly met with Pep Guardiola to try and convince him to become their manager. No. Hands off, he's ours. That'd be awful.
Would you take him? Would you take
Every
him now?
day of the week. I'll take him right now. It's our final chance, or your final chance, sorry, to enter our £26,000 competition. It closes today. Yes, at 6 o'clock tonight, someone will get that phone call that lands them a whopping 26 grand in cash, completely tax-free. But you can't win it unless you're in it. And time is running out. What time is it? You've got 12 minutes. All you have to do is head to talksportwin.com now. talksportwin.com now. You've got 11 minutes. The clock is ticking. I'm just looking at my producer, Joe. Are we calling them in our show? He says, are we calling the winner in our show? He says, no. Okay. But someone will call you. That could be you. 26 grand. Amazing. Right. We are taking your calls on all things World Cup and Argentina, whatever you want to talk about. It might be what Fozzie said about the fact that he thinks the quarters are coming to town. Let's hope not. And I think it's Angel. I'm guessing it's Angel. Joins us now.
Yeah, it's Angel. Well,
it is Angel. It is Angel.
Everyone, well, here it is. Back in Spain, everyone calls me Uncle, obviously. But yeah, okay. Angel's fine.
Angel. How are you, Angel?
I'm buzzing. I'm Spanish. But
oh, okay. Congratulations. You don't sound Spanish, but congratulations.
No. When you're 11 and you don't speak a word of English, living in South London, you pick the accent up quickly, I promise. But anyway.
Okay. Well, congratulations to you. Well done. You've done the whole world a favour.
Yeah, cheers. I blame the referee, and it's not just in the Spain
For what?
game.
Hold on, for what?
Because England and Spain, the first 30 seconds, McAllister versus the Spain game, Simone in the England game, took a player out, and it was almost, you remember the old-fashioned, let them know you're here, knock them up 6 feet up in the air, and the referees did nothing.
Knock them up, you
So
say? Didn't see that in the game yesterday.
But the referee did nothing. So Argentina think, all right, the referee ain't going to do anything. We're going to carry on. And a yellow card for Simeone against England, a yellow card for McAllister yesterday, right at the beginning, the players know, hold up a minute, maybe not. Do you know what I mean? And they just let them get away with it, and then it just turned into a farce, in my opinion.
I agree. I agree to a point on this, actually. The McAllister tackle yesterday, honestly, when I saw it go in, I thought, VAR might even look at that, and in an extreme circumstance, they might even go for a red ear. And to not even get a booking that early does. It definitely sends a message to Argentina that it's like, right, we'll just keep going then.
What did you think of their goal, Spain that scored and that was chalked off?
Oh, it's a goal. It's a goal all day long. I could believe what I was saying. That's the sad part of it. I actually probably could believe what I was saying, but no, in my eyes, that's a goal all day long.
Sad,
it
right?
Yeah.
Joe's a Man United fan. Joins us now. Hello, Joe. How are you?
Oh yeah, good. Thank you. How are you?
Good, man. What would you like to say?
Yeah, Andy. I just heard you earlier say about when Messi tried to get Cucurella sent off, and that kind of tips your opinion on the whole kind of Messi Ronaldo thing. I can't wrap my head around that. I don't understand why you said that really. Because,
what can't you get your head round?
I just think I've heard many things about Messi in terms of people saying perhaps if he had that winning mentality he would do things. For example in the England game, Rice was seen talking to Messi like that, and Messi didn't make a big deal out of it at all. But he makes a deal out of it yesterday. But I don't see why that should change your opinion on him, or perhaps
because he's good. He's good enough where he doesn't need someone sent off for covering their mouth with a hand.
I agree. I do agree with that. But I just think, I think, Ben, you might have mentioned it there. I think, they were in a situation. They probably knew themselves they were not going to win that game, or they were a match for Spain yesterday. I think that's him just saying, in my opinion, that's a winner's mentality. He just thinks, this is going to be probably our best chance of getting back into this game if I get him sent off. So hence why he's done it. I mean, to be fair, I followed Messi his whole career. He doesn't usually do stuff like that. That was probably him just saying, it's my last hurrah, I'm going for it.
Yeah, you don't want to see it though, do you? I hear what you're saying, but you do. By the way, I haven't changed my. I still think Messi's the best ever.
I'm hoping that you were trying to wind people up.
No, I never do that. But that was just me having a little bit of fun, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Who do you think the greatest is?
It's got to be Messi, hasn't it? I'm like you. I love Ronaldo. I played with Ronaldo. I saw what he could do and how hard he worked for it, and it was incredible. Honestly, absolutely phenomenal. And we're so lucky that we've grown up in an era with these two. But for the longevity of it, Messi still doing it to this day. What he did against England, it's just beautiful.
I tell you what I did last night. I couldn't get to sleep. Obviously, the jet lag thing. So I found myself about 1 o'clock in the morning this morning watching Maradona. Documentary Asif Kapadia has made. It's a fantastic. If you've not seen it, go watch it. It's brilliant.
Is it the one that shows that basically the amount he got kicked, the amount that he would just run over people, but they were booting him, kicking him, but he just carried on all the time,
and the amount he was doing as well. It's very sad, He obviously got in with the wrong people, but the footballing wise, when you look at what he did for Napoli, I mean, it was incredible. They absolutely, and how it turned when they decided to put Argentina v Italy in that stadium for the World Cup. I think it was a semi-final in 1986, and it was like the whole country turned against him for that, and he had to leave Italy after that.
Legend, though.
Yeah. Let's go to. I need to put my glasses on. Is it Brady joins us? Hi, Brady.
Oh, hi. You right?
I'm good, man. How are you today?
Yeah, good. Thank you. Yeah, very good. Very good.
What would you like to say?
I just want to say, obviously, the guy next to you's played football at a pretty good level, and everyone knows.
Sorry, did you say pretty good? Man United in England, you went pretty good.
Yeah, pretty decent.
Pretty good.
Yeah,
pretty is all right. Yeah.
He was all right, but obviously he will understand about the dark arts of football, and everyone knows when you're playing against players that are a bit better than you, there's always that manager that says, look, leave one on him early doors, just to let him know you're there, and put him off his game. Now, they've done that really well against England, and I felt like with Bellingham, they sort of pinpointed him, because that Paredes, I can't pronounce his name properly, very average player at Roma, but he got in his head, you could tell. And then he's come on yesterday, and the first thing he's done is gone through the back of, who did he go through the back of? I can't remember. It might have been Pedri, and just sort of like set the tempo. But the problem is I just felt like the ref then, well, the whole game, he's not got control of it. If he just books him straight away, as in, or books one of them straight away, like one of Bellingham the other night, they know now they're on a booking. You see what I'm saying?
Brady, do you know what? I actually really appreciate this call, because I think if England could have taken 20% of the dark arts of what Argentina did, 20%, not everything, because you don't want to see some of the stuff that they did, but 20% of it, I think Argentina, the reason why they beat us, because they're better at getting over the line by whatever means. So it would, the amount of times, how many times did you see Argentina players running players off the pitch, but then even giving them that little nudge there?
And Lamine Yamal had one as well, didn't he?
They do it all the time. They did it against England all the time. Little off the ball where they nudge it, and it gets in your head. It does. It winds you up like you wouldn't believe.
Even Simeone's probably one of the most bang average footballers I've seen. He's even worse than his dad, and yet he even went past the liner. At one point, the liner even barged into the linesman when he went to the throw-in. And it just needed someone from England just to rat him, just to absolutely rattle him, and just make
Do you like that? Brady, do you like that in football?
Yeah, well, it's part of the game. I was at this argument with one of the guys at work, and he was like, "Oh, they were cheating." I said, "It's part of the game. That's what the game is."
Do you like it?
I can't stand it yesterday. I don't think I've ever wanted Spain. I've wanted someone to beat Argentina so bad, because to me, it just felt like that they just wanted Argentina to win this World Cup so badly, the officials and everyone around it, because of Messi, that they were trying that hard. Like the goal yesterday, how can you say that wasn't a goal? I mean, he stepped his toe. I mean, you stand on people's toes all the time in football.
Yeah, I am. Thanks to be called. I am convinced if that's an Argentina goal, that counts.
I totally agree. Just going on to what he said there. You don't like to see it to the extent that Argentina do it, because it's not nice, is it? You watch it and you think, oh, it's not really football, this. But this is what football used to be like, though. Do you remember, do you think about Manchester United back in the day, that sort of Keane team, and, you've got Vidic is in there, and Stam, and those guys, when they would play against Arsenal, for example, your Vieira, those sort of matches, this was par for the course. Those little off-the-ball nudges and pinches. And
do you think we lack that?
Massively. That's the little bit that sometimes you need to have, that little bit of naughtiness, and it don't look great, and you don't want to teach our kids it, but winners have that sometimes, and it's not nice. But I want to see England just be a little bit nastier.
Well, when we come back, we'll talk about England. I want to get your views on Thomas Tuchel, Harry Kane, third and fourth playoff. Lots to talk about. If you want to have your say on all the above and more, pick up the phone. You could be next. 0371722 3344. Last hour drive time is coming your way right after this.
Let's talk Morgan Rogers. Obviously, Middlesbrough will be quite happy as well, Crookie.
Yeah, I think they get 15 million quid there or thereabouts from their salon. Yeah. This is a move that's come somewhat out of the blue, because I felt for the last few weeks the direction of travel was that Morgan Rogers ends up at Arsenal. I know that his advisors have been in talks with Arsenal for quite a few weeks now, but I'm not sure that Arsenal were willing to pay the asking price of Chelsea of season opportunity, £117 million, a British record fee, and he's on his way to Stamford Bridge. I think Arteta's going to be really disappointed because Rodgers was his top target. Arsenal could offer Champions League football. Chelsea, of course, can't offer European football of any form. But from an Aston Villa perspective, this should give them the platform now to go on and find their way around the financial issues they've had with UEFA in particular and be able to bring in reinforcements. They need them, don't they? Because they've not only lost Morgan Rogers, they've lost Yuri Tillemans to Manchester United. Luca Digne is on his way to Paris Saint-Germain. Those are three players who were so key for Villa last season in terms of winning that European trophy and qualifying for the Champions League.
How out of the blue did this Chelsea bid come? Because it seemed pretty out of left field to a lot of us. But also, what does it say that you've got a chance to move to the Champions of England where you're going to play a starring role and yet Xabi Alonso is the manager you want to go and play for?
I think that's certainly a big draw, but I think also Morgan Rogers maybe got a bit frustrated knowing that he was Arsenal's top.
Formula One. It's a sport often seen as insular and elitist, but it's seen a meteoric rise under its owners Liberty Media, not only in popularity and viewership, but in the ability to almost print money. From greater access to more races, here's how it happened. For decades, Formula One was owned and run by one man, Bernie Ecclestone. He was old school, someone who thought the sport itself was enough, and there was no need for all this modern marketing and social media nonsense. But in 2016, Ecclestone agreed to sell his baby to American group Liberty Media. It cost Liberty Media $4.4 billion, and they quickly got to work. We got an F1 app almost immediately, and teams were allowed to show us more from behind the scenes. One of Liberty's most important deals was with Netflix, which in 2019 brought us Drive to Survive. The effect? An almost 70% rise in viewership for races in the US alone. It's massively benefited Formula One online too, with a rise from 7.8 million followers across its social media platforms in 2016 to around 50 million today. New eyes are on the sport too, with F1's own subscription TV channel, which people can watch anywhere in the world. But the main market they've tapped into is the US. There's now 3 races there a year, in Texas, Miami and Las Vegas, and an American-branded team, Cadillac, getting involved in the sport too. More races seems to be the direction of travel. A street circuit in Madrid's being welcomed onto the calendar, while conversations around a Grand Prix in Africa have ramped up in the last few years. More big events could be in the offing too, after the massive F1 75 season launch event in London in 2025. 7.5 million people tuned in to watch it live across the social media channels, and that doesn't include the viewing figures for where it was broadcast on TV in certain countries. It seems Liberty will do whatever they can to grow the F1 brand. Their efforts have been worthwhile too, with Forbes valuing the sport at $17.1 billion back in 2023, almost 4 times more than what they bought it for in 2016. Not bad, considering it's seen as a sport where people just drive around in circles.
Well, Matt, to last hour drive on talkSPORT, me, Andy Goldstein. Superstar is Ben Foster alongside me. Still to come on today's show, we'll be asking who the best player in the world actually is right now. But the dust has settled. Are you happy with England finishing third?
and Bellingham now can charge forward away for good from Meccano. Lacroix will try and hold him up. Bellingham though takes it on the outside, comes in field, brilliant from Bellingham. Oh, wonderful from Jude Bellingham. That is why he is one of the best in the world.
Yeah, okay, it's our best finish at a World Cup since 1966. Nobody cares. We're all still reeling from what happened in Atlanta.
And that is it. An historic day for England for so many reasons. Their best ever performance at an overseas World Cup. They finish on the podium. They take the bronze medal.
Yes, this World Cup was England's, I'm not comfortable saying this, most successful for 60 years, was it? As they still third place with a 6-4 win over France on Saturday. The manager, Thomas Tuchel, spoke to the media afterwards, said that the criticism after losing to Argentina in the semis was too harsh.
The press conference yesterday felt as if we went out in group stage without a win, to be very honest. And 24 hours later, we have the biggest success in 60 years. So to take the low not too low and the high not too high is what we try, even like for us and for the team. I think the low and the drama about what happened against Argentina was too low. But listen, that's part of it.
Now, here's my problem with what he just said. He used the word success, the biggest success in 60 years, right? If we got to the final and lost, that's not a success. Argentina won't look back at yesterday and go success. If Spain had lost yesterday, they won't say success. I don't see why we should say success when we came third, or, more importantly, when we lose in the semi-final. No one cares about third and fourth. We lost in the semi-final. You should be as far away, in my opinion, from the word success as humanly possible if you don't win the World Cup.
First of all, the fact that we're upset at going out at semi-final stages after, us as England fans for, 40, 50, whatever we are now kind of thing, we've had plenty of years where if we'd have got to a semi-final, we'd have been absolutely over the moon, buzzing. The fact that we are where we are now, where we're gutted at going out of a semi-final because we knew there was a genuine chance there for us, I think we have to be very happy and proud of. Having said that, if the manager would have just come out and said, yes, I do have some regrets. I feel I could have handled that second half after we scored the goal. I could have handled it better. Then I think every one of us would go, do you know what, fair dues. Absolutely fair dues. We've had an enjoyable World Cup. We've got to a semi-final and mistakes were made. But going forward, we know that if this occasion was to arise again in the next Euros, for example, then it would maybe go a bit differently.
But what I don't get is he was brought in to do the things that Gareth Southgate couldn't do. Yeah. And that was make difficult decisions towards the end of a match when we needed the most. And we got to exactly that point, and he made the wrong decisions. I can't, for the life of me, understand why or even how he made those mistakes.
Yeah, it looks like it's panic, doesn't it? It looks like it's just panic, heat of the moment, and I don't know what to do, so I'm just going to bring a defender on, and that's all there is to it. Andros Townsend did some good sort of research on it, didn't he? He said he watched it again, and he's really broke it down. He did a video about it on Instagram. And one of the things I actually take a little bit of opposition to is the fact that he said when we scored the goal, we were still trying to defend in a brave 4-4-2. That's what Andros Townsend said. The only problem with that is when you're camped on the edge of the 18-yard box, that's not a 4-4-2. That's just 11 men behind the ball. It doesn't matter what formation you want to put or label it as. It's still just 11 men behind the ball. Argentina scored their second goal and still kept Messi and Martinez on the halfway line, and they looked like they could have gone and scored a third as well. We scored one goal and we had 11 men behind the ball at all times. That's the bit where you just can't do that. With the quality of players that we've got as well, everybody's already spoke about this. It's very obvious what we probably could and should have done is bring some players that maybe can stretch the opposition, get a ball over the top and go on, get us up into that corner, get a throw in, get a foul, buy something, just be a little bit cleverer. And going back to what I said earlier about the nastiness, we haven't got it in our game. Buy a foul, go down, kill some time, take the steam out of the game.
Do you think, because there's question marks whether or not he should be sacked, whether or not he should be in charge of the Euros with England in 2 years' time, do you think if you took him into a quiet room, just you and him, and you said to him, this conversation goes no further, should you have taken Trent? Should you have taken Palmer? Yeah. Do you think you got it wrong against Argentina? Do you think he'd be honest with you? Do you think he knows that all of those he got wrong?
Yeah, I don't think he's ever going to say it. I don't.
Do you not, even to himself?
No, I don't think he's ever going to say it.
Do you think he was right to do what he did?
No, I don't think he was right to do.
Sorry. Do you think he thinks he's right to do that?
Possibly. But I think to be in his position and do what he does, you have to have this self-belief. And I think the reason why he is what he is and where he's got to is because of his self-belief. So he always has to back his actions. He has to back his actions. And there's no way he's going to be coming out now and saying, yeah, I made a mistake. Because then he's always got people can come for him for that.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
I'm going to ask you a question. I think when you hear the question, you'll smile, and then there'll be a long pause of nothing happening before you think of your answer and say it. Okay? Did we have a good World Cup?
We did the bare minimum.
Okay, that's not why I asked. Did we have a good World Cup? You got two boxes in front of you, yes and a no. Like you're going to vote. Did we have a good World Cup?
Yes. But we still did the bare minimum.
Didn't have a good World Cup.
Right, semi-finals of a World Cup, you can't turn your nose up at it. It's as simple as that. However, there's more to the story in that. It's never as black and white as yes or no.
I think it is.
No, it can't
I looked
be.
at that final yesterday and I thought we should be winning that.
Oh, mate, the fact that we've lost to that team that Argentina played just honestly, that is the biggest. Oh, it hurts so much.
I think we had a good World Cup. Told you, laugh, didn't I?
You know what?
When I say your answer back to you, you laugh.
No, but do you understand what I'm saying when I say about the bare minimum? Because we have done the bare minimum. We should not have lost any of the games that we played.
Right.
All the group games, and then you go look at DR Congo, Mexico, Norway. We should win them games,
Yes,
correct?
I agree.
And then you start to get to the pinch point, which is Argentina. And this is why the manager was brought in. And this is why so many people have such a strong opinion about it, because I don't think Gareth Southgate made as big a mistake in his tenure as what Thomas Tuchel made in that final 40 minutes.
I think he made similar ones.
Not that big. Not 40 minutes sitting, bringing 11 men behind the ball. I don't think he made one like that.
So you think Thomas Tuchel made a worse mistake?
One worse mistake
than
at one
any of
big moment.
Southgate's?
One big moment, yeah.
So he was brought in to do what Southgate couldn't do, and you think he's gone backwards?
Yeah. No, I don't think he's gone backwards. The fact that he can get us
worst
there,
manager.
Definitely not. You are putting words right into my mouth right now.
We've got a manager that made worse decisions. The right words
in the big moment, yeah, in that big moment. The fact that he can still get us there, though, not easily, because the route there wasn't easy, was it? But we are a solidified semi-final major tournament team.
Let me ask you. I said, did we have a good World Cup? And you said yes. Okay, what match for 90 minutes did we play well in?
None.
How can we have a good World Cup if we lose and didn't play well?
Nobody played well for 90 minutes. Nobody does.
France?
Only
Spain?
France, right? But they go out in the semi-final. Who do you think would be more disappointed of their World Cup, France or us?
That's a great question. Probably them, because if we won it, we were going to just fall over the line. Yeah. They had the players to win it easily.
I went to watch France against Sweden. I think it was the first knockout game. Honestly, they were frighteningly good.
I remember.
They were frighteningly good. And if they would have got over Spain, I think the biggest disappointment for France was that Spain game. It was so out of character for them, because every game up until that point, they were phenomenal. And I think if they would have won that game against Spain, whether it was us or Argentina, they would have blown us away. They really would have done. And the fourth place game that was played a couple of days later was just an absolute farce of a game. Get rid of it.
Let's go to the third and fourth playoff, right? You don't think the game should exist?
No.
Nor do I.
No.
Do you think the goals or assists should account in it?
No, definitely not. I saw when Mbappe came on at half-time, I thought he's 100% scoring. He is 100% scoring. And a little bit of that fragility of England's, even though we're 4-0 up, right? I guarantee you, at 4-0 up, the players would have been thinking, oh my God, they've just brought the heavyweights on. All the big boys have just come on. Dembele and Mbappe, they're all good to go again. They're going to be popping. And within, 25 minutes, half an hour, it was back to 4-3. And even me at home, I was thinking, oh my God.
Imagine if we would have lost that.
Oh my
would it have made, so the game meant nothing to me.
Yeah. Did you watch it?
Yeah, of course. It meant nothing to most English fans, I think. But if we lose after being 4-0 up, it means everything, right?
That would have been curtains, I think.
Isn't that bizarre? The game meant nothing. 4-0. No one was going 4-0 well beaters. No, but you lose 5-4, it's like, right, get him out.
Do you know what it is, though? It's because it reinforces that fragility that we have in our English DNA. That's the bit there.
Yes, you're right.
You know it's coming. And you're watching it happen in front of your eyes.
At 4-0, you're sitting there going, it's coming. Need one more. We just need one more to be safe. Five, and I'll give it to us. That's exactly what you're thinking,
It's
isn't
horrible, though, isn't it? We shouldn't have that about us. Spain haven't got it about them.
No.
They've got their way of playing, and they stick to it religiously. And they weren't incredible at any point throughout this tournament, apart from the semi-final against France.
That Bellingham goal in the third and fourth, that doesn't happen in a real game.
No chance.
That's a training ground.
Yeah, that's a training ground goal. But a few of them were, to be fair. The amount of counter-attacks we have where France just aren't even bothered to run back and shut us down and get numbers back.
Okay, we'll talk all things England. What did you make of England finishing third? It's the greatest ever World Cup, apart from 66, our greatest ever. Our greatest ever.
Oh, I don't know. You can't say that.
And also, Fozzie says yes to the question, did we have a good World Cup? I say no. You say yes?
Semi-final's the semi-final.
Okay.
How many teams went to it? 48?
I thought we could say the semi-final. I'll go like, that's easy. Only 4. Just hands up in the gallery. Did we have a good World Cup? Hands up if yes. Oh, my God, you agree with Fozzie? You weirdos.
They do.
I'm glad you were cheering, were you?
And
when
your
we came
answer's
third?
no. Your answer's definitely
lost.
a steadfast no on
You either
this,
win
yeah?
it and it's great, or you don't and it's awful.
No.
Our World Cup was not
maybe
good.
I'm just a bit more of an optimist than what you are.
Okay. You're happy with the semi? 0371, what? 03717223344. Simple question, and it's not that one. Simple question. Did we have a good World Cup?
There is a line that you should not overstep, and they overstepped it communally numerous times.
Got to be a long ban.
Yeah.
Jeff, if you look at it, Jeff, if you watch it back 5 or 6 times, Paredes, let me say, on Garcia, he grabs his neck, and the way Garcia's neck, after the game, Garcia's neck jolts. That's assault.
Yeah.
Simple as that. Like, it's assault.
Like you, Stuart Pearce believes that the Argentinian midfielder needs an incredibly strong punishment.
Oh.
But you've got to say, and just to back up exactly what you've just said there, sometimes in life and in football, what goes round comes round. And that's exactly what's happened to Argentina today. And I'm sure FIFA will see the punch that was thrown at the end of the game, and obviously they were quite happy to extend a 6-game ban for a Qatari player, and I'm sure when they see a punch like that, it will probably warranty a 20-game ban. I'm sure FIFA will be right on top of this, Aid.
Yeah. Well, they should be, because something's got to be done to stop.
You want to
things
feel
like
safe
that.
on the pitch, don't you, Jeff? Do you know what I mean? You can't let the punishment has to be that big that no one ever does that.
It is assault. You've got it
yeah.
absolutely
No
right.
matter what happens in football, you can be angry you lost, but be classy in defeat.
Yeah.
Don't like. Do you know what I mean? If you want to fight, Paredes, there's places to fight. Not on a pitch against a Garcia. The way he was manhandling, I think it was Gavi, 21-year-old kid, and you're throwing him around on the pitch. That's someone's son, someone's brother.
Yeah.
Disgraceful. I'll ban him from the whole next tournament if I had my way.
I mean,
Howard.
They were shameless, classless thugs.
Yes.
During the game and after the game.
Ready to get that winning feeling with talkSPORT Win. This summer, talkSPORT is bringing you live and official coverage of every game of the FIFA World Cup 2026. And to celebrate, we're giving away £26,000 guaranteed. Go to win.talksport.com to enter now, and you could win 26 grand in your hand, tax-free. Enter now, and you could be the next to get that winning feeling, courtesy of talkSPORT Win. Find out how to enter now at win.talksport.com.
Driver talkSPORT, me and Goldstein, former Premier League goalkeeper Ben Foster, alongside in partnership with Jack Mo, Styling Brands for every man. We were just talking about golf and hole-in-ones. You've got one, and it was a perfect hole. Rather than hit a tree and then hit a bush and.
Am I allowed to talk about it quickly?
Yeah, do what you want, of course.
Yeah, so at the Warwickshire, I think it is the 17th. It is actually 2-level green. The hole this time was on the lower level, which is at the front of the green, over water, 135 yards, pitching wedge in hand. Playing with my brother, I pitch it into the downslope. It stops and then slowly starts rolling, inching its way back to the hole. And me and my brother just sort of waiting. Boom, it drops.
You just really sprint to the hole, did you?
Oh, no, we were just jumping all over each other. My heart rate spiked.
How long ago was that?
About a year ago.
Such a great feeling. And you kept the ball, did you put it in a little display box?
You get a little display box. It says my hole in one, and you can get it engraved, where it was, what time it was, all that kind of stuff.
Was it a good ball? Because, like, the golf...
Tailor-made.
Okay, because it's like frowned upon. Imagine getting a hole in one, you got the worst ball possible.
A Kirkland ball.
Okay. If it was one of those.
Oh, I'll throw it away and
you don't want to... Oh, it just had practice written on the side.
Tailor-made TP5X.
Should we go to the phone lines? 03717223334. One of the questions I asked was England's performance at the World Cup. Was it a good World Cup for England? Sam is a Spurs fan. Hi, Sam.
Hi, boys. How are we?
Good, man. How are you today?
Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad at all.
I'll ask you the question. England, did we have a good World Cup?
No.
Okay, tell me why.
No, it's a really. I think we had really good moments, and I think we have had for basically the most of the World Cups that I've watched, really, really good moments. But and like Jude Bellingham, I mean, the boy is beyond special. He is some boy. But I just think that as a whole, we spent the week before Mexico talking about the altitude, and everyone was like, "Oh God!" And we did that, and that night was unbelievable. Congo went 1-0 down. Instantly, all of us were like, "Oh my God, we're not going to win." In Norway was the same. 1-0 down. We were, "Oh my God!" We never ever felt like we were like, "Oh, we're definitely going to win this game." We haven't got that confidence about us. We just haven't got it, and I don't think any of it was good. I think we had, like I said, good moments. Bellingham scored the Azteca, unreal, but as a whole, absolutely not. No.
Do you not think that? I think most nations would feel the same way though about their team. I don't think anybody, again, apart from France, who steamrolled virtually every game they played up until the semi-final, I don't think there's any team that you can say, right, we were absolutely brilliant all the way and it was plain sailing. Every team had adversity and you've got to overcome it. And I think us just being English, we expect us to rip every game.
If you look at Cape Verde, right, their fans will go, "We had a great World Cup."
Yes, agreed. They did have a good World Cup. For what they did, they overachieved massively.
Yeah.
So they overachieved massively. We didn't overachieve.
Did Morocco have a good World Cup?
Probably not on recent history, tournament history for themselves. Probably a little bit disappointing. They look good at times, but a little bit disappointing probably. I think on the balance sheet, us getting to a semi-final is about acceptable. So therefore, it's probably a good World Cup. But I understand what he's saying, though. I do. The caller, I totally agree. Okay. But I just think as English people, we are a little bit more pessimistic about our own team.
Dave's up next, the Huddersfield fan. Hi, Dave. Good afternoon. Or good evening, I should say. How you doing?
Yeah, good evening, lads. You both all right?
I'm good, man. What would you like to say? What's your views on all things England? Good World Cup?
Yeah. No, not for England. It wasn't. I don't think. I feel like it's a missed opportunity, and I think that's coming on to my point. Actually, is that I feel like since 2018, I feel like we're coming to the end of this quarter-final, semi-final run, and we're going to be going back to what we were with people like Kane going. We're not really sure who our defence is. We're not settled, and I am concerned now that we might have seen or missed the best opportunity we've had of winning either a Euros or a World Cup in these past 8 years, and we've not taken that chance to do it. Don't know what you guys think on that.
Yeah, it's a fair call. I think it is. But even with all of the adversity then that we faced, the team possibly wasn't the right team that we took in the first instance. The back four getting chopped and changed every game pretty much.
Yeah.
And to still be able to get to a semi-final, I still think we've got to go, you know what, we'll take that. We'll take that.
Okay. We'll take more calls, shall we? Michael's up next. Hi, Michael. How you doing?
How you doing, guys?
Good, man. Off you go. Did we have a good World Cup?
Well, I'm Scottish, so I'm more of a team Scotland.
Okay. Did Scotland have a good World Cup?
No, I don't know. Right. We were the best fans. We were adored as the fans. I'll take that. I have an issue with you saying that England don't have this nasty side, but Harry Kane spends the entire time in the referee's ears. He's also well known for doing one of the most disgusting moves in football, where he backs into a player and makes them land on their back. Jordan Pickford dives over, well, I say dives over the place, he's about 3 foot tall. He dives over and then lands and laughs. There's a brilliant picture of him doing it to McAllister before they score. Jude Bellingham slaps a player in the back of the hair. They've got their nasty streak inside them. I think it's just a basic case of they overachieved. They overachieved in the sense that they're 4th ranked in the world and you finished 3rd. It's an overachievement. Harry Kane disappeared after Congo. Jordan Pickford is, for me, I've said this since day one, I think he's an average goalkeeper, maybe a good goalkeeper, but he's not world class. And it's just, I think it's an overachievement. I think they did better than I actually thought they were going to, and it's only because they didn't play anybody until Argentina. Scotland played the same number of top 10 world-ranked teams in the World Cup than England did. And
you're not comparing the two, are you?
No, I'm not. No, you can compare the two. Obviously, you can't compare the two. But I think as soon as they came up against any decent team, I think they were going to struggle, and that's what happened.
Okay, thanks for that. I've got a question for you. Will you ever see in your lifetime England win the World Cup?
Probably, hopefully. Again, I'm an optimist, honestly.
Wow.
I'm an optimist, and I really do.
What are you basing that on? Probability?
Yeah, probability that...
Not ability.
Yeah. We're getting closer and closer. We're edging and we're knocking on the door now. I do feel, though, this is why this one hurts so much, and I think this is why the nation feels so let down, is because this was a genuine opportunity. Once you get to the final, anything can happen.
Flip of a coin, right?
It's not a flip of a coin, because Spain are a good team and they're probably a better team than us.
Yeah, but we've got players to win it on their day. If Kane and Bellingham turn up.
Exactly that, yeah. So that's, I think, is why everybody feels so hurt about this tournament in particular.
Okay. Still to come, we'll be looking ahead to Anthony Joshua's return to the ring. It's live on talkSPORT this weekend. Are you a boxing fan?
A little bit.
Do you go to boxing?
No. Okay. I've been to one boxing match.
What was that?
It was what's the Tottenham Stadium called now? Tottenham Stadium.
That would do, yeah.
It was a Tyson Fury against who's the one he always just fights like 2 or 3 times a year or whatever.
Of course, not Belly, different ways. It was his mate Chisora.
Yeah, Chisora. Yeah. Basically, just tried to get a few quid in his pocket. Basically,
yeah. So you added to his pocket.
We added to his pocket. No, we got free tickets.
Oh, fine. Okay, good. Right, time for a bit of no googling. We'll talk boxing in a couple of minutes' time. Rodri is just the 4th man to win the World Cup, European Championship, Champions League, and the Ballon d'Or. Can you name the other 3? Good luck with that. You want that question again? Rodri is the 4th to win World, European, Champions League, and Ballon d'Or. Can you name the other 3? Good luck with that. The answer to that and boxing chat and a bit more football chat coming up live on Drive after this.
Who would have even dreamt that 6-4 would be the scoreline in
a madness?
The 3rd and 4th place game.
A 10-goal quote-unquote thriller, an absolute candy floss
and
of a game
the
of
chances
football
that were missed as well.
Oh, I watched it live last night, and I went back over. My notes from when I'm watching a game are often a an absolute madness when I read back over them. And I'm like,
Are you on little bits of paper or is it a big sheet?
No, I actually, weirdly, I WhatsApp them to myself. So I write them in my phone as I'm watching and as there's breaks in play, etc. And one of the things I wrote is England could have scored 6 in the first half. France could have scored 9 in the second half.
Yeah.
Like, it was just a absolute madness of a game of football. But is it one you take in any way seriously?
Well, it's hard to... Could you imagine that game and that result being in the tournament as a semi-final game?
Absolutely not.
That's just not going to happen. So I mean, watching the performance with England against, Argentina, we talked a lot about it yesterday, and what England didn't do. And then we watch the next game and England do everything they should have done, as in the type of players to get into space and run behind the opposition's defence. England done it all the time.
The German leading England. It all sounds a little bit odd, but as Thomas Tuchel tries to bring football home, here's how he ended up in one of the most scrutinised jobs in sport. Well, Tuchel started his footballing journey in the sleepy town of Krimbach. His leadership skills were obvious from an early age, with Tuchel even making subs during PE volleyball sessions. After a knee injury ended his playing career at the age of 25, Tuchel accepted his first coaching role in the Stuttgart U setup in 2000. He led the club's under-19s to their league title 5 years later, but his perceived abrasive personality meant Stuttgart chose not to renew his contract. He went on to spend 5 years at the helm at Mainz before leaving the club for Dortmund. And there, Tuchel secured his first major trophy, the German Cup, in 2017. 8 more pieces of silverware came next for Tuchel in just 5 seasons at PSG, Chelsea and Bayern Munich. And that CV impressed the top brass at the FA.
We found so many similarities and so many things that suited my approach and my hunger to achieve special things. I always wanted to come back to England.
Well, he says all the right things, but is destiny on Tuchel's side?
Welcome back to Drive on talkSPORT. It's me, Andy Goldstein, the ledge that is Ben Foster alongside me. Before I ask a good question as well. Rodri is the fourth man to win the World Cup, European Championship, Champions League, the Ballon d'Or. Can you name the other three? You got them?
I've got a couple.
Go on then.
Muller.
Kurt Muller is one.
Zidane.
He's the other.
And then I got stumped.
The Kaiser. Franz Beckenbauer. Follow us at 7. Natalie Sawyer brings you kick-off. Tonight she's got former Premier League defender, we spoke to him earlier, Mickey Gray alongside, and the Mirror's Darren Lewis alongside. But time now to look at the summer transfer window with Giacomo.
A good fit on talkSPORT with Giacomo. Style and brands for every man.
Oh, we need to talk about this. Morgan Rogers has had a medical at Chelsea ahead of a proposed £117 million move to Villa. The deal would set a new transfer record for an English player, would also be a club record signing for Chelsea. Former Villa captain Gabby Apollor was on the Breakfast Show this morning, said it's a good deal for all parties. Have a listen.
When I look at the finances involved and how Aston Villa had to sell, again, one of their superstar players to get the money to sort out the books, you can see it from Aston Villa point of view. Like I said earlier, Alex, he's the gaffer's son. I used to be with Martin O'Neill, so did Ashley Young. He played every minute, every game, more or less, under Unai Emery. He would not have wanted to sell Morgan Rogers, but you know the rules better than me. Villa had to create funds, didn't they?
Good to see Cook in the studio, by the way, with Dallas the Hat. We have to start with this one. Who's 170 million? Sorry, I'm just lost for words. I'm just gobsmacked that they're paying 170 million. I like him. I think he's a good player. Am I going mad, or is 170 million too much?
If Gabby's right and Villa have to do this deal, they have to sell him. First of all, I don't like that because I still can't understand how Villa, even though they've been finishing Champions League places, for example, how they still have to sell players. It don't sit right with me. Like you see other teams splashing money around like it's going out of fashion, and then Villa are having to sell players. Having said that, I think if somebody offers you 117 odd million pounds for one of your players, you're taking it.
Yeah,
You're taking it
every day.
It's an awful lot of money, and maybe it's probably over what they should be paying. But again, if Aston Villa don't want to sell and somebody really wants one of your star assets, then they're going to have to pay a premium price for it. I just think that for Villa, it's disappointing, especially as I said on the show the other day, actually, he's a homegrown player. He's not homegrown because he came up through the West Brom Academy. But when he's one of your own, if that makes sense, and he comes up through the youth team and then he's playing in the first team, fans have this emotional connection to these type of players. They really feel like they know Villa inside and out, these players. And then to lose them to one of the big boys because they have to sell them, that again, just don't sit right with me.
What's happening to Villa at the moment? Lost Tillemans, obviously, to United. They have signed Manzambi, João Gomez as well. Do you feel sorry for Emery that he's losing his best players?
Yeah, and Onana as well. Did his cruciate in the World Cup as well, didn't he? So a couple of the players that they've signed look like they're really promising players. João Gomez, one of my friends, is a big Wolves fan, and he raved about him all of last season, even though we're in a struggling team, raving about João Gomez. But that is basically the middle of their team, the heart of their team has just been ripped out. Tielemans, I think, is a snip as well.
Yeah, me too.
Absolute snip. What a signing that is for Manchester United. Somebody with that level of experience, professionalism, on the ball as well. The eye for it. He's a lovely player, really is.
He starts for United, does he?
Probably, yes. I still think United will have to get another one in that position as well.
We didn't even talk about Kobe Mainoo, by the way, when we talked about England.
We could talk about him in a minute if you want to. But I just think for Man United, Youri Tielemans is, if they're trying to build a proper team, a proper squad, then Tielemans is a no-brainer. He really is.
Can you see Unai Emery maybe getting a bit peeved off with what's happening and not leaving? It's a little bit over the top, but you need to keep your manager happy all the time, right?
Yeah, and next season, do you know what? The Premier League next season, it's going to be an interesting one. It really is, because we've had so many different managers. You look at all the top teams and they've all got a new manager. Yeah, Chelsea have got a new manager. You've got Man City with a new manager. Liverpool with a new manager.
United, yeah.
And United obviously carrying on, and not all of them managers will hit the ground running. Not all of them will work straight away. But I do think that there'll be one outlier, and I'm not sure who it is yet, that will hit the ground running, and they will just start smashing it from the get go.
Okay. Will it be Chelsea? Because some people have questioned why Rodgers would leave a club with Champions League football to go to a club that hasn't got it.
I don't like the fact that Chelsea have just got rid of Cucurella. I don't like that, because Chelsea have been screaming out for experience for the last couple of years now. And he is exactly that. He's got this nastiness about him. He's got a winner's mentality, and he's got that experience. And that's another one gone out the door. Now, Morgan Rogers is, 23 years old? He still hasn't got that level of being a leader in the team yet. So you can't let them players walk out the door. It has a big detrimental effect on the team. But I do think that with Xabi Alonso, I think he will bring a little bit more, reassurance probably.
Yeah, stability,
maybe.
Do you think, what they sell Cucurella for, was it what they paid, 50 million, right? That's a bargain. I know it sounds insane saying that's a bargain, anything at 50 million, but I sort of feel Real Madrid have got one.
Best left back in the world, probably.
He's in that conversation, right?
In that conversation. He's just won a World Cup, won the Euros a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
You know what you're going to get from him. And I think if you can spend £50 million on a player who will go straight into the starting 11 and give you a 7 out of 10 every single week, £50 million is exactly what you should be doing.
Let's stay with defenders. We'll talk about John Stones. Arsenal considering whether to sign him on a free transfer this summer, especially if William Saliba's injury turns out to be long-term. I think it's like 4 or 5 months at the best. Does that make sense? Or the worst? But either way, I think it'd be a great move for John Stones and Arsenal if he goes there.
I think John Stones, I was thinking about this a few weeks ago, I still think he could probably play for any of the top teams in the world. It wouldn't surprise me to see him at Barca, Real, any of the top Premier League teams, Bayern Munich. I reckon he could still do a job for any one of them.
Benty said last week that he thinks Bayern Munich is a possibility.
Wouldn't surprise one little bit. He's a lovely player. Now, don't get me wrong, he's maybe not going to be able to give you a 38-game season where he's playing every single week, but for somebody that can fill in for maybe 25, 30, great lad around the place, professional, been there, seen it, know what it takes to win matches, win leagues. Oh, he'll be a great signing for somebody.
Are those days gone when you get a defender or a player that plays 38, 40 games a season plus? Or do you think it's all about...
I think through the spine of the team they exist. You still need that player in the spine of the team, right through the middle, central midfielder, your central defender, maybe one guy up top as well, your goalkeeper. They still need to stay there. They need to be playing the majority of the game.
You think so? I get it with goalkeeper, obviously, right?
You need your mainstays. You need your 90% gamers. That's what you need, and then you can sort of like fill around the edges of it anyway. Would you take John Stones at Man United?
Every day of the week.
Every day of the week.
Because it not only comes with ability, but experience as well. And he's a winner, right? What he's done at Man City has been incredible.
Totally agree.
He was my starter for England alongside whoever you want to put.
I'm a little bit surprised Man City have got rid of him, you know. Or not got rid of him, but not renewed his contract.
Yeah, me too. I don't know how fit he is. Yeah, he was out for a long, long time towards the end of the season with Man City.
He's shown he can do it.
I think since Christmas he played like 8 minutes or something ridiculous.
Yeah, he did, and he was one of the big surprises, really, getting called into the squad for the World Cup. But
we do see that. I find it amazing. We see that a lot where a player's not fit for his club towards the end of the season, and then all of a sudden, like Reece James will play, and John Stones will play, Bukayo Saka will play, and I'm like, where was that at the end?
Yeah, I know, I'm with you. But the manager, you'd like to think the manager knows what he's doing, or he's had a relationship with those players. So Reece James, for example, he's worked with Reece James. Trevor Chalobah, the reason why he called him up in the squad, because he's worked with these players.
And Noni as well, probably.
He knows what he's going to get from them, so he knows that even if they are coming towards the end of an injury and he can get maybe 2 or 3 weeks out of them, then that's the reason why he's probably brought them over.
Yeah. Who's your team that you support?
Nobody anymore. When I was a kid, I supported Tottenham. I was a Tottenham fan. My brother kind of bullied me into being a Tottenham fan. But then as I've gotten older, started playing football, you lose that affiliation with the team.
You never played for Spurs, did you?
No, never played for Spurs.
Did you come close to playing for them? Have I made that up?
Nearly. There was a few rumours. When I was leaving Birmingham when we got relegated, there was a few rumours, but nothing ever materialised. My son's an Arsenal fan, so I take him to a lot of Arsenal games. But normally it's the teams that you've played for or have like a real nice feeling with as well.
The reason I ask is, and it answers the question, start for Spurs, John Stones, right?
Every day of the week.
Yeah.
Every day. That Spurs could do well next season. Spurs have spent a lot of money.
Could do well?
Top 10 for them. Well, hang on a minute. They finished 17th. They finished 17th the last 2 seasons.
Man United finished 16th and then finished 3rd.
Yeah, they did. In fairness, they did.
Is that achievable for Spurs?
I think Spurs, if they can go and get a striker that can put the ball in the back of the net, because that's what they've been crying out for a long time.
Is Solanke that man if he stays fit?
I don't know. I don't think he's ruthless enough. I think they spent a lot of money on him as well, 60-odd million.
Yeah, it was,
wasn't
60,
it? And following in the shoes of Harry Kane, big boots to fill as well. And he just hasn't materialised for whatever reason. But they need somebody they can rely on to do that.
Yeah. It's difficult, right? Because Harry Kane was always going to do that for Tottenham.
Harry Kane's a world-class striker still, and I've still got a little bit of a bee in my bonnet that he's come away from this World Cup where people are kind of talking ill of him, talking bad of him, and I don't think it's his fault. The game against Argentina, it's not his fault that he's defending on the edge of his 18-yard box. The decision should have been taken out of his hands to do that.
Yeah, I agree with you. Stick Ollie Watkins on for the last 15. That's a chat for another day. That was all thanks to Giacomo. Giacomo offers a full range of sizes from small to 5XL.
A good fit on talkSPORT with Giacomo. Style and brands for every man.
We're nearly done, Ben Foster, would you believe? But when we come back, we'll talk a little bit of boxing, AJ fights at the weekend live on talkSPORT, and usually we have end-of-show quiz, but we haven't had time for the best of talkSPORT. So Joe, producer Joe, who's paid a lot of money to make big decisions, has decided to stick it there.
Viva España. Thank you, Spain. Muchas gracias, España. Ferran Torres, you absolute beauty. You have saved football, because from start to finish, whether it's Tom Cruise's pathetic speech about unity in front of Donald Trump, whether it's the game starting 6 minutes late, whether it's the disgraceful refereeing which allowed Argentina to push, scratch, foul and dive their way into extra time, whether it's the most egregious decision to chalk off Nico Williams' opener, whether it's the ridiculous half-time show which wasn't even good, or Infantino chasing after Donald Trump after the trophy was handed out. This World Cup in so many ways was an absolute circus, and Argentina, who might have produced two of the world's best players, have been an ugly addition to this World Cup, and I'm glad they got their just desserts. The only shining light in the stadium was Spain, and I've just enjoyed the biggest hate watch of my life. Thank you, Spain. You've saved football.
Max, I'm with you all the way, mate. Look, it was a boring game.
It was a terrible game.
It was a terrible game, wasn't it? It wasn't great, was
Argentina made it terrible.
Yeah, just
the ref made it terrible.
Start. Loads of fouls. Goals disallowed that should have been goals. Like, you could see it was just they were trying to line it up for Argentina, but they just didn't have. I'm a conspiracy theorist, yes.
So
they were trying to line it up for Argentina, weren't they?
And football's the winner, right?
And football came out on top, so that's what I'm happy about.
Yeah, without a doubt. Now, I mean, where do we start? Lionel Messi's last game. Lamine Yamal, a teenager, already won the Euros, already won.
Get ready to get that winning feeling with talkSPORT Win. This summer, talkSPORT is bringing you live and official coverage of every game of the FIFA World Cup 2026. And to celebrate, we're giving away £26,000 guaranteed. Go to win.talksport.com to enter now, and you could win 26 grand in your hand, tax-free. Enter now, and you could be the next to get that winning feeling, courtesy of talkSPORT Win. Find out how to enter now at win.talksport.com.
Welcome back to the last part of Drive on talkSPORT with me, Andy Goldstein. Former Premier League goalkeeper, legend Ben Foster alongside in partnership with Giacomo. Get fresh looks, great brands from Giacomo. Right, following us at 7, Natalie Sawyer brings you kickoff. Tonight, Natalie has got former Premier League defender Mickey Gray and the Mirror's Darren Lewis alongside her. Now, this Saturday, Anthony Joshua's comeback starts. He faces Prenga 20 from 20, I think it is. Let's look ahead to that fight now with our friends at DAZN.
Big fight build-up on talkSPORT with DAZN. Anthony Joshua's comeback starts this Saturday as he faces Christian Prenga. Watch only on DAZN Saturday Fight Night.
Yeah, live boxing returns to the talkSPORT network this week. Anthony Joshua faces Christian Prenga in the warm-up for the huge Fury clash later this year. Our expert team will be in Jeddah all week, keeping you right across all the action with exclusive content and daily podcasts. AJ's been speaking to our friends at DAZN ahead of the fight. He was asked what he still wants to achieve in the sport.
You know, I was thinking about why I do it today. What's the purpose? I still feel like I've got a lot of room for improvement. I feel like it's definitely my identity. I went through a big transition of shutting down companies and realigning my focus again because I want to do it. I want to do it to my best of my capability. So the goal is obviously to set yourself up to be able to stop. Yeah. But ultimately, I don't want to. I still feel really good.
There's still dreams and targets that you're going for that you haven't got yet?
Yeah, so I believe that the undisputed target is the one. Because I think in my mind, what's beneath that? Unification. What's beneath that? World champion. So let's set the bar where I know I can go.
And it's a big bar.
It's a big bar, but I believe that it's one that can be achieved. And on the way to that, I become world champ. On the way to that, I become unified champ. And on the way to that, I got an opportunity to fight for the undisputed champion. So it's a great journey. It's a great progression that I can see happening all in front of me.
I was going to ask if you're going to watch it, but of course you won't be watching it. You'll be listening to it on talkSPORT. Or watch it. Is this a DAZN paying for this bit? Or you might be watching it on DAZN, either way.
That's what I was going to do anyway.
Are you looking forward to... Are you an AJ fan?
Yeah, I like AJ. I like watching him. Historically, we were just talking about how much money you think he might earn for fights like this.
I've got no idea, but I'm guessing 3 million, 4 million, 5 million, something like that.
My gosh, when you hear him talking there, and in fairness to him, right, he's a sportsman. He's been a sportsman his whole life. And when somebody says to you, you know, why'd you do this for? Like, what's the alternative? You stop. And what comes when? Yeah, what? I know I'd much rather still have that routine and getting up every day, getting in the gym.
Do you miss that, do you?
No, because I still do it. I love the routine of getting up and working hard, going to the gym, getting out on my bike.
You still go to the gym?
Still go to the gym, yeah. You're looking at what? You're looking
you
at
had a good World Cup, did you?
So that's why he does it. It's that routine. He doesn't know anything different, does he?
No. Counting the money helps.
I suppose that does.
And also gearing up to AJ Fury, I should say. Who do you think will win that fight?
Oh, it's two fighters. Am I allowed to say past their best?
Of course, I think everyone's saying that, yeah. Only just past their best, maybe by 3 or 4 years?
Yeah, probably, yeah. I don't know. I want to win.
Who do you want to win it? Who do you want to win? You've got a magic wand. You can actually cast your vote onto who will win that fight.
Maybe Tyson Fury.
Okay.
Maybe Tyson
Why
Fury.
is that?
Just because I've watched the documentary and he's just a belter.
All right. He's not a dosser in it, is he? That was a look ahead to AJ Prenga with DAZN. Join DAZN Ultimate for 185 plus fights and 12 pay-per-view views every year, including Joshua against Prenga. All included at no extra cost. Buy now at DAZN.com. Time now for this. Yeah, usually it's the end of the show. Quick, I don't know what's happened to Billy today. He just couldn't be bothered. So I know you were devastated, weren't you?
I was looking. That was the main reason why I came here.
Is that the only reason you said yes?
Yep.
You have to come back.
Billy's in the mud.
Billy's in the mud. He lives in the mud. Right, the best of talkSPORT. This is where we run you through some of the recent highlight moments from across talkSPORT. Let's kick things off with the World Cup final. Here's your England commentator, Jim Proudfoot, reacting to the half-time show.
Just rewind a minute. Miss Piggy doing Seven Nation Army.
I knew you'd be interested in that. And actually, there's been a list of headliners sent out of those who are big guests here and the entertainers. Miss Piggy wasn't near the top of the list.
Well, that's scandalous. I mean, I don't know what Lou Grade would make of that. And that's just absolutely dreadful. She's up there. I mean, she's got to be above Bieber.
Very bizarre. What do you make of the half-time show?
Not great.
No.
Don't need it.
I quite like the Muppets being there. I'm not talking, by the way, about Ronaldinho, Ronaldo and Madonna. That was terrible. Can I just say, right, on the subject of Robbie Williams, right, who I thought was fantastic beforehand, I thought he was brilliant. There's internet stuff about him going about, It's just a mint. It pops out of his mouth. You slow it down. You can see it. I showed you earlier on.
You did.
And everyone's going a little bit. It's just a mint.
It's a mint.
Just calm down.
It's the fact.
I showed it to you in slow mo, and you're like,
yeah, it's a mint.
okay,
Pops out of his mouth. But it's the funny bit is that he puts it on his forehead.
Yeah.
So it's got the internet talking, but it is just a mint.
Yeah, I don't know why. It's very bizarre that it ends up on his... That's the sort of thing that I do. You go like, oh, why have I put it up there? If you fancy some more music, make sure you head over to Virgin Radio. You can easily find it by swiping right on the talkSPORT app. Right, over to... Oh, do you want to read this bit? I did say, what are you like with reading?
What does over to this morning's 10 till... on this morning...
Oh,
okay,
I should have read it, shouldn't I?
Over to this morning's 10 till 1 show, Arsenal Invincible. Martin Keown was alongside our chief football correspondent, Alex Crook, and his new hat, Dallas.
So you're going to wear that hat through the whole of this show?
Well,
because you know what this show wins awards.
I was only going to keep it on for the first section, but I've got a lot of messages saying, no, as it's his last outing, you need to go all the way through till 1 o'clock.
I hope it is the last outing.
It's become a bit of a cult figure, Martin.
Who's told you that?
Should we talk Spain rather than fashion?
Why not?
Do you not
Why
like
not?
it? Do you want to wear it for a
No,
section?
no, I'm
You
fine.
sure?
I'm fine. I probably should wear it, but no, I'm not going to.
Might cover that bald patch.
Oh, you're out of order.
Oh, good work, Crookie.
Go on.
You got some questions now. You got to ask me.
What do you make of Crookie's hat?
I love his hat. I was there when he got it. Well, not when he got it, but I was there when he started wearing it loads every single night out.
It suits him.
It does look great. He said he was only going to wear it once, and then that will be it. As in one more time on today's show.
I was listening to it earlier, and Keown was on one, by the way, like a little bit aggressive as well.
He's always like that, Keown. I offered him the chance to come and sit with me a couple of times.
What, today? Before me?
You know, no, I would never do that. I mean, as a guest, like for one section.
What's
But he didn't want to know.
What's your favourite single item of clothing?
Probably Travis Scott fragments.
Oh, what, the blue and
blue black ones.
lovely
They're
them, aren't they?
unbelievable.
Very nice, yeah. And finally,
whoa, I don't know where this is going.
If you started going thin on top, what would you do? Do you know what we'd do?
Oh, what you got in your hand there?
We'd get a
look top bit. Just read it from the top. What does it say?
We'd get ourselves a lovely little pot of Goldstein's golden paste. It's yuzu flavour as well. Lovely.
Yeah, not flavour. Don't eat it. That was today's best of talkSPORT, everyone. Ben, you've been nothing short of magnificent. Thank you so much.
You too, mate.
High five. Good work.
Can I just say as well?
We missed it. You did.
That was awful, yeah.
There you go.
Obviously, it was sad and somber start to the show with Kevin Keegan's passing, but I thought you were incredible. Handled it amazingly, and the callers that we had in as well were top class.
Well, you were equally as brilliant. Thank you for that.
Yeah, mate, thank you.
I mean, we've done a few shows together, you and I. Let's do more. All right? Whenever. I mean, I love Benny, obviously, but I think he's off for about next 6 months. I think the next time he's back is when the Euros begins. But we would love to get in the studio a lot more. You've been fantastic. Do you want to give your podcast a little plug as well? I know that's doing incredibly well.
Yeah, it's called The Fozcast. It's on YouTube, Instagram, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, thank you. Appreciate that.
Okay, thanks for coming on. I'll be back tomorrow at 4 o'clock. Troy Deeney will be my guest. Make sure you join me for that. Stay with talkSPORT. Natalie Sawyer is up next. Have a good evening. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Be safe, everyone. Be safe.
Gabby, well done to Spain. Argentina were an absolute disgrace.
Yes, last night, I felt like I won last night watching. I felt like football was the winner. Anti-football lost. Shame that Messi's probably last World Cup game was a game where his team didn't try and play football. Disgraceful tactics that have worked all through the World Cup. They're bully teams. And last night, they tried to bully Spain and it didn't work. Finally, a referee who decided to give a few bookings. Could he give a lot more?
Oh, well, how was Paredes still on?
Especially to Paredes and other players. But at least he gave that second yellow card to Enzo Fernandez, who deserved to get sent off. Football's the winner once again, which is what we wanted to see in the Champions League, football being the winner, and also in the World Cup.
Yeah, that Enzo Fernandez. I've never met him. He must be a lovely bloke, mustn't he?